This is the fucking Costco chair that I bought. It just now it doesn't want to squeak, but it's a squeaky little chair. I gotta get some WD-40. Welcome to the Cool Stream. I am getting everything together right now, but please spread out the link. Let people roll in, filter in. We're doing this over. The first stream was just a figment of your imagination. This is the real Cool Stream. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cool Stream. First stream of the month in 4 months. My name is Hikiko. We're doing this over. We're just doing this all over. I just changed up the whole layout. Just flipped the script on ya. Rug pulled. Okay, this is not the Cowabunga collection. This is Shredder's Revenge. So I'm going to try and party up with somebody. Maybe somebody will join me. If you want to join me, it's Miles Chan on Xbox. I guess I don't have any friends on here. Maybe I'll just play the story and somebody will join me. Right? Is that how it goes? Either chill. This is a chill stream. I am a chill guy, but I guess that's easy. There's okay and gnarly. And I have not played this, so I can't tell you how difficult it is. So we're going to start on chill because I've never played this one. We're going to go ahead and skip all this. I'll just learn as I go. And, yeah, so this is Shredder's Revenge. It came out a month ago, and now there's another Turtles collection, the Cowabunga collection. This is not Evil Dead. I'm sorry if you were tuning in for that. Oh, wow, you got Master Splinter, you got April, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, Leonardo. Now, I usually play as Donatello in most of the Turtles games. NES are the ones that I played the most, but of course I played Turtles in Time and the arcade game. Who do we got in here? Thank you for coming back after that shit show that was... Oh, I can hit left bumper and find players. Okay, sure. Please. Maybe I'll just join them. I'll just join somebody else. They're looking for players. Is that one of you? Welcome. Let me see here. I got to get this chat in front of my face so I can read it. Yo, says J-Spot. We got Poggers from Century is Down. Dis Argonaut's nice. Wow, the music is too loud. Is the music too loud? Is it really? Because I turned it down to 40. We got some Vitas in chat. Wild Potato. Hey, wait a sec. Hot flip a minute. This isn't Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, I've played that game for the Xbox. Fragile. Let's go. Jacob Triple H. Go. All right. Looks like I'm in this. I'm going to play as Donatello. Whoa, we're going to get a full roster going here. That's nice. This will be fun for my first time. Snow Ash Williams today. That's all on the Evil Dead. Okay, that's all on them. I also had a bone to pick with them because they didn't put the entire single-player campaign on the disc, but that's another rant for another time. What up, Garden Back? Thank you for joining us. We lost some people along the way there, but that's okay. We're partying up. If you want to join, I'm Miles Chan. I don't know how you would join this because I'm not sure how the matchmaking protocol works on this one, but feel free to join. All right. I don't recognize any of these names. Wait. Why does it say I'm both... Hold up. Why am I both Donatello and April O'Neil? Can somebody explain? Why am I both... I'm Donatello, it says Miles Chan, and then also below I'm April. Is this like Marvel versus Capcom? Do I summon somebody? Is that who I switch to if I die? That I don't know how that's possible. Oh, by the way, if you're here, leave that like! Get out of my face! I'm sick of the excuses. One thumb. Just give me a good old thumb. Thank you. Please and thank you. If you hear any squeaking during the stream, it's for this Costco chair. I've upgraded my chair, but downgraded in some ways. I gotta throw some grease on it. I gotta throw some WD-40, a nice little spray for my chair here. I'm ready to go. Everyone's dropping out. Why am I two people at once? I literally have one Xbox controller to me here. I don't know how I'm picking two characters at once, but it signed me up twice, guys. What is going on with Xbox Live today? Mecha Shadow says, on Xbox, my girlfriend had a glitch where it adds two players because it detects a keyboard and controller as two inputs. I don't have anything else hooked up to my Xbox. This is just one controller. Let me back out. This is getting weird. I'm having way too many problems for this to be a coincidence. The forces that be are orchestrating against this stream, but I won't let them. All right, let's just play. We'll hit LB. So we'll join T-dubs. Good old T-dubs there. Hopefully as one player. Going from an Xbox Series X to my PS4 really made me miss Quick Resume. I've been having issues with Quick Resume. I literally have to remove some games from Quick Resume in order to boot some of the games. I'm getting all sorts of weird things going on, but I haven't booted up my Xbox in about a month because I was working on that crazy Wii video. All right, let's read some chat as we wait for players. Con Ekton Deutsch. Okay. McDJC1. Is the Evil Dead single player good? Yes, it is good. It's really difficult though. But I recommend playing it if you want to do multiplayer, because if you can make it through single player, multiplayer is a cakewalk. It'll put you through the paces. All right, let's try one more time. I want to play as Donatello. Okay, let's join Soul Rebel numbers. All right. And I'm only one player this time. Off to a good start. That video was really good. Made me hunt down a Wii. Ah, nice. Hopefully you got a Wii or a Wii U. I captured most of the footage of that video on my Wii U. I just hacked the Wii mode. So I did like everything came through HDMI and it was much easier to capture. Russian name, hey Hikiko, just jumped in to say thanks for your vids. They helped and inspired me a lot. I'm now making my own games. You're the king of reviews. Thanks for everything and have a great stream. What is this compliment? Thank you so much. I gotta unpack that. Well, I'm happy my videos did something for someone out there. I never know. I just like video games. And I'm insane. And I make ridiculously long videos that no one watches. So I'm glad somebody out there got something from. Appreciate it, guy. All right, here we are. Shredder's Revenge. I'm Donatello, by the way. I'm not playing as April at the same time. Weird glitches today, but we're finally getting things going, and I'm happy to be here with you for this Friday afternoon cool stream. A lot has gone on. I mean, I think I haven't streamed for 4 months, and it's not because I don't like streaming. I love streaming, but YouTube, for whatever reason, punishes anyone who wants to use their streaming platform. It's not like Twitch, where they constantly encourage you to stream all the time and dedicate your life and just treat it like a job. Just do 8 hours, you're not doing enough. Do 12 hours a day if you want to make it to the top of Twitch. And it's just, that's not how it works, folks. It's all a rigged game. It's nepotism. It's corporate sponsorships, shills. They make it to the top. It's very hard on any platform to be a small dog in the big pen, okay? I'm just a small junkyard Pomeranian in a place where there's, you know, pit bulls and shit. I'm just trying not to get eaten. But I'm happy anytime that I can find the time to stream for you guys. It's not as much as I'd like. You know, I used to stream a lot more. But nowadays, I'm just kind of focusing more on the long-form content, on putting out the videos that I've just had in my mind forever. Stop making excuses. Get to making the big videos. And that Wii video was something I wanted to make since starting the channel. I had always been kind of an advocate of the Wii, and I've reviewed a lot of Wii. I looked at my entire channel's collection of videos, and I'm like, I've reviewed a lot of Wii games. And I think what that has to do with is that I felt that the Wii was kind of unfairly treated in the West, in North America especially, because a lot of games that I found to be some of the best in the platform didn't get North American localization for whatever reason. A lot of it was Reggie. Like, I found old Iwata asks, or I found like old podcasts and stuff with Reggie Fils-Aimé, and he's like, oh, this Pandora's Tower is just too weird, and we just don't think it will fit in with our demographic. Or another Code R, yeah, like Hotel Dusk sold enough copies to get a greatest hits version, but we don't think Trace Memory 2 just wouldn't jive well over here. And just excuses and excuses. Meanwhile, Wii music comes out. Meanwhile, Pizza Delivery Boy. Meanwhile, Billy the Wizard just gets greenlit. Like, F that. I'm glad Reggie's gone. Because, like, the Nintendo Switch does not have this problem. If you haven't noticed, the Nintendo eShop, the Switch eShop, is the most obtuse, slow, painful digital shop to navigate. It takes, like, your Switch eShop minutes to load icons and navigate through. You're just never get discovery is abysmal. If you are an independent developer and you publish a game on the eShop, welcome to the swamp. Welcome to the peak saturation. It's just like being a YouTuber, quite frankly. You put your heart and soul into it, and you just cannot. The user interface is abysmal. Filtering out the deals, like trying to stick out, is just impossible on the eShop. So I have to seek out like alternative platforms like Deku Deals. It's DEKU deals.com. I'm not sponsored by them, guys, or by anyone for that matter. But I do use that platform to find out like what's on sale on the Switch eShop, and it actually has analytics where you can actually see the history of the price to see if you're getting a good deal or not. It's just a fantastic website. So I check it about once a day, Deku Deals, And they have it for PlayStation, they have it for Xbox, they have it for Switch, but I use it for Switch because the Switch eShop is just painful to navigate. There are games that I didn't know came out that I find out about on there. It also tracks like physical prices. Like if there's a better deal physically, I of course go for the better deal physically. So it gives you all the information you want to know. And I've recommended it to a lot of friends because they're just like, I don't ever buy anything digitally because it's just a pain to navigate that shop, and it really is. And I don't know that Nintendo's ever going to do anything. I think with every new update, like every new week that they add games, it just gets slower and slower. It's the same issue that I had with the PlayStation 3. The PS3 store used to be like one of the best shops around. I'm just getting rhinoed all the way around. The PS3 shop used to be like one of the best shops around. And then like with each subsequent year of updates and stuff, it just became slow and unusable. Yeah, Ray Cortex, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's dirtbags in this. This is great. Yeah, eventually the Switch eShop is going to get to that point, I believe, if it's not already there. Like, it's pretty bad right now. But it's nowhere near as bad as the PS3 store, where it would just crash the entire system whenever you would go in there. But I'm just not a fan of slow digital stores. I mean, I think the Switch, of course, is just it's a hardware issue too, and you know, with chip shortages and Nintendo like not feeling that they need to upgrade the hardware, they'll just keep it, you know, a few generations behind until they absolutely need to. But I still love my Switch. It gets the most play out of any of my systems. It's just super convenient. But you always get stuck with the worst ports, and you know, Deadly Premonition 2, need I explain more? Okay. I got an Achievo. Oh! Okay. I really need to learn these controls. I'm just kind of mashing buttons at the moment, and I don't think this is a game where you can do that. And I didn't even check what difficulty they're on. They're probably on a fairly hard difficulty. Alright. I'll just focus on Dirtbag. That will be my goal. But I like this game. It's made by the same team that made Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which I probably played 200 times when it came out. I don't exaggerate. I was really into Scott Pilgrim, the movie, the American manga, or whatever, the Western manga, and the game. I just kind of hit at the right time. I was already a fan of Anna Monoguchi. This might date me, but Anna Monoguchi was like one of the first pages I followed up back during the MySpace era. And I was just a huge fan of chiptunes. So when I found out, like, oh, Anna Monoguchi is finally going to be composing a soundtrack, that's what got me into Scott Pilgrim. And then I sought out the movie, and oh my god, we're getting swamped here. Let's see if I can get one person. All right, we're good. When I found out Anna Monoguchi would be doing that soundtrack, I was like, oh, I've got to play this. And that's what led me into discovering the whole Scott Pilgrim stuff. Hey, what's up, Nero? Long time no see. What's your favorite Corey Feldman song? Oh my god, Ascension Millennium? Or no. What was it that he sung on that? Like, he did this one show, like, where there's this YouTube clip of Corey Feldman in a hoodie, and he does like this weird little dance on live television. I can't describe it, but yes, I am the biggest Corey and the Corey's Angels fan out there. Yeah, they got rid of the wish list on PS4. That sucks. And so you just stop buying. Yeah, that's how Sony works. They they start off with a bunch of cool features and then just slowly take them away. Let's see. Can you or chat say anything about the DP2 PC port? Such a quiet release. Yes, I can. I do have the DP2 PC release. I might make a little video, like a little Swery Files update kind of video on it. It works okay. It does run at 60 frames. There's really no features like where you can tweak the textures or the draw distance or the shaders or anything. It's just straight up 60 frames. And Mark, or the Sentry is down here, actually streamed. He was the first person in the world to stream getting every single stamp from the stamp book. So basically, all my knowledge on the DP2 PC port came from watching his streams because he got all the stamps and he got the purple suit. He was the first person in the world to do that. And he's updated his guide since, so you can go check that out. Is my ping terrible, or is their ping terrible? Yeah, we're at 300 milliseconds. Oh, dang. Okay, well, does it allow me to play the rest of the level, or do I have to... I think I have to quit out. That's a shame. Okay. Let me just start my own and see if anyone just joins me. I'll just start from the beginning. I'm gonna discard all my power levels. We're gonna start off on chill. That sucks that you just can't continue on. I'll just play as Donatello. We'll start over. Oh, and as I was saying about DP2, they haven't really fixed anything else with it. It's just still kind of boring and repetitive. There's no like additional content. They just allowed you to play everything in 100% it. Like the Switch version isn't fixed, will never be fixed. And Mark actually went back to check the Switch version to see if, you know, like the way they routed it on the PC version, if maybe there was like a specific way to like do all the quests to unlock all the stamps. There's not. It's just there's one glitch mission called the Wolf House Brothers quest. I talked about it in my stamp video on it, and they just will never touch it. And that's Toy Box for you. That's White Owls for you. It sucks. So if you're the Switch version, you have a shitty version, and they don't care, and they have your money, and that's just how it goes sometimes. But if you want to play DP2, the PC version is the best way to play it. It's not particularly a good game, as I've outlined a million times, but if you want to play it, it's there, and it's 60 frames. It just doesn't necessarily enhance. Like, there's still other terrible things going on, like the character routes. You know how characters have routines and Deadly Premonition. They're still bugged. They still walk through walls. They still sometimes go to the wrong place. They still crash the game. So I really don't know. As I said, it's a tepid recommendation. I just don't think it's one of those, oh, it's janky, therefore charming. No, it's just a bad game in general. I like the soundtrack on it. There are some aspects about DP2 that I find kind of cool, but I think it's just overall more of a watered-down version of DP. It has less features, and the people that like it really don't understand what made the original good. Like, they have some, I don't know, some distorted view of what Deadly Premonition should be. Like, no one likes Deadly Premonition because it's a broken game. Like, and your perception of why it's broken is probably founded in the terrible ports. Like the 360 one, the Xbox One, those are all great. Like, they all run just fine. And all the Resident Evil 4 aspects and stuff like that, just borrowing all that, that's not what makes the original DP good. And the broken shit, like, nobody wants it to be a broken game. Like, oh, that's just DP. You hear those guys that come out, oh, that's just so sweary. That's just so DP. No, it wasn't always broken. You guys, I already ranted on this in my videos on it, but I just hate that. Like, you know, like, developers don't set out, I mean, maybe there's some, like, extreme examples, but developers don't set out to have a terrible broken-ass port of their game. They're actually aiming for not the niche that they built for themselves. They're trying to break through into the mainstream, whether they admit it or not. Like, do you think Swery wants to be destitute and just, like, living paycheck to paycheck, living game by game, barely scraping by, putting out all these snake oil fraud games that are just half-baked, like The Good Life? Do you think he wants to be doing that, or do you think he actually wants to realize, like, have enough budget to realize his vision and put out something that's more marketable, you know? Yeah, because he knows for a fact that the niche gamers like me, the people that are into, like, Deadly Premonition and The Good Life, not all of us support him. Not all of us go out there and, you know, put our money where our mouth is. You know, I do, as I've demonstrated that I've bought every fucking botched port of his games and backed his games on Kickstarter and yada yada and stand for him. Yeah, but not everyone's me. Like, not everyone's going to go out there and do that. They're going to take one look at a Let's Play or something like, well, that looks like shit, and then they never buy it. And then he goes broke, and then we just never see anything good. No, I don't know. I always want to, like, advocate for the best possible way to do something. I've grown up playing broken games. I've grown up playing, like, you know, the worst of the NES and PS1 and PS2 and Wii and all that stuff. Like, I've played all that shit, but it doesn't, like, just because it exists and, you know, it was the thing at the time doesn't mean it has to continue to be that way. There's often reasons for something turning out as a disaster, and oftentimes it was a product that was rushed. But now that we live in a society where it's possible to apply update patches and address issues, or have fans come in there out of the goodness of their heart and apply mods like what's going on with DP2, you know, fixing some of these issues. You know, you should be embracing that as a developer, instead of just throwing your hands up and saying, well, fuck everyone, fuck all you frame rate trolls, which unfortunately Swery has a habit of doing. You know, bless his heart, I love the guy and I love his work, and I will always love DP and D4 and the missing and all that, but I feel like you should really embrace the people who are trying to fix your game, rather than say, well, too late, got your money, suckers. Which is really what The Good Life was, an experimentation about goodwill. The goodwill you share between you and your audience and how to squander that. Yeah. Well, let me read some chat. Sorry, chat. I've been on a tangent here. Gardenback, it's sad, but I'm still kind of glad we got a sequel. I said as much in my video. People didn't hear that part where I said, I'm happy this exists. I did say that line. It came out of my mouth. I'm happy this exists. And I feel it's always good to I'm glad he took a crack at it, but it certainly could have been better. Recluse Syndicate says, so what do you think of him? Yes, I'm talking about him. Hoongan, is the skeleton gentleman friend or foe? I think Hoongan's a friend. He's an excuse for the writers, being Swery and Goda, to place York wherever they need him in the story. So I guess he's a friend. He's kind of a, what do they call, a Deus Ex Machina device to put our protagonist where he needs to be. So good, I guess. I don't think I can get anyone to join me, can I? I'll just make a public party, and if anyone wants to join, it's Miles Chan. So just join up if you want. Deadly Premonition 2 kind of feels like a Unity asset flip version. It is. They have stock Unity assets in there. there's a bunch of plugins that somebody listed on the Steam page are the ones they were able to identify, and some of the characters are straight up just ripped like stock Unity characters. Like there's really no artist touch to it like the first one. And even all the NPCs of Lucare didn't really have much to them. Like their side missions were straight up Xenoblade Chronicles tier, collect X amount of objects. Okay, you did it. Now there's no story development. There's no extra weapons. There's just nothing. There's really nothing to it. I think anyone who takes the time to 100% Deadly Premonition, the first one on the Xbox, if you take the time to do it, you'll instantly feel cheated if you play DP2. Hey, what's up, Ben Hillman? Look, if the Kardashians can monetize just being the Kardashians, surely the House of Swery should be making bank from name recognition alone. I mean, he was. His Good Life was a success. Whatever, anything he puts out, regardless if, controversy, he still gets people that go out there like me and plays it and talks about it for a little bit. But, the thing is about Swery, he doesn't have much follow-up, I feel. Like, he just kind of just puts something out and then drops it forever and doesn't really talk about it too much. Like, even The Missing as well. Like, The Missing is a very short game. It's got a lot of heart to it, but he hasn't really done anything, announced it, like, he wants to continue on anything. I feel like The Missing has some sub-stories that could be worked out with other characters, and I don't know. There's room, there's potential in there to grow that concept. But The Good Life especially. The Good Life just ripe with it's such a dead, empty, open world that you could literally do anything with it. It's such a blank canvas for him to sling his expertise upon. But no, like he straight up just ditched it. It's been over a year almost. I think it'll be a year next month since The Good Life's come out, and it's been like, I don't know, 5 years, almost 6 years since the Kickstarter campaign. Almost 5 years. And I guess I'm gonna get the physical stuff that I paid for. Like, I paid for a limited edition PS4 version. They had announced, by the way, that there was going to be a physical Switch version, and they had the mock-up on there, and I was like, oh, wait, there's going to be a Switch version? Can I switch over to that and get a physical Switch cart? Because I already have the PS4 digital code. And they're like, oh, no, that was an accident. We weren't supposed to put that out. So they accidentally created a 3D mock-up of a Nintendo Switch version, stating that they were going to have a limited version, and then it's just, oops, we posted that. And it's never coming out. So I guess I'm going to get a PS4 physical version sometime. But they've been saying that, and it's like COVID delay, COVID shipment delay. And I'm like, okay. How long is that going to go on for? I mean, I could understand that excuse last year, but I don't know now. Now they're just grasping for straws. I don't know if I'll ever get it, but if I do, maybe I'll show it off or something or take a photo. Say, it exists, but I got some enamel pins and a Good Life t-shirt, so eventually I'll be able to show that off. No off hashtag drinking, indeed. Astranagant, what do you think about the Evil Within series? I really like the first one. I played through that and all the DLC, and I feel the DLC is not often talked about, but there's some really interesting stuff. Evil Within 2 I have not played. I do need to get around to doing that, but I really like the Evil Within 1. I think it's far more hardcore than Resident Evil 4. It can be annoying in place. Every enemy feels like a Crimson Head from Resident Evil Remake, because you have to burn their bodies and stomp on them and stuff. So it can be a bit it's a bit more like reliant on knowing where the traps are, leading enemies, setting traps, that sort of thing. So there's a bit more clever design going in there, and yeah, I like it quite a bit. It feels like a lost Alone in the Dark game. The Evil Within does. That's the best way I can describe it. Rocksteady. Toidles. But yeah, maybe I might make a video someday in the future on Evil Within. I went through Ghostwire Tokyo, by the way. I beat that entire game. I was really hoping that Mikami and Tango Gameworks would put out something great, because I think the concept's good. You know, it's like a Japanese Ghostbusters with folklore and all that cool stuff. And I went through the entire game, and I like 100% all the shrines, and I did a lot of stuff. I don't think I got everything, but I got most of it. And it just, the story, the main story in Ghostwire is maybe 4 hours long, and it just abruptly ends. There's no second act to the game. There's a first act and then a fourth act or a third act, and that's it. I've never felt that a last boss came out so quickly and there was no buildup and it's just over. I did like the game. I thought it was a beautiful game. It reminded me a bit of BioShock with the powers, but there's really no, I don't know, structure or progression, I will say, to the experience of Ghostwire. And the prequel game is a joke. The prequel visual novel is an absolute joke. It's like maybe 20 screens long. Oh my god, guys. I'm getting so thirsty. Bradley says, should Swery stop drinking or leave the royal family of beer? Somebody had asked me, I think this sounds kind of mean coming from me, but somebody asked me, like, why did Swery fall off so bad? And the two primary reasons I can think of, maybe there's three. Number one, the alcohol, okay? This dude drinks, I don't know who I could compare him to. Like, I've had alcoholics in my family. This dude drinks all the fucking time. It's hard to find a photo of him without a fucking beer or tequila in his hand. And yeah, that makes him endearing. Like, you know, he's like the Hemingway of video games or something like that. It's part of his image. He's built his image around it. Fine. Let the man drink. I don't give a shit. Yeah, some of the best artists put out their best work when they're drunk. Like Modest Mouse, back when Isaac Brock was an alcoholic, he put out some of his best works. After he sobered up, unlistenable. So maybe that's part of the secret of Swery's success, okay? So maybe I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to tell him to go to rehab. But I will say, get the fuck off of Twitter. Swery needs to just forget all of his social media accounts, not listen to anyone. I feel that's kind of a problem with a lot of creators out of there. They get very insecure and they listen to like random psychopaths on Twitter. Like, I always found it funny that that Reddit. I always found it funny that Reddit has like an Ask Reddit subreddit, right? And people actually take life advice from people on Reddit. You got to consider the source always when you're taking advice. Even from me, even from old Hikiko here, consider the source. Like, are they really living do they have your best intentions in mind? Are they living in the similar circumstances, a similar economy? Are they, do they have the same experiences, hardships that you've gone through? Can they really relate on some level? Have they had any major responsibilities in their life that they've had to tend to before giving you like life or death thing? Yeah, go ahead and just divorce. Just go ahead and divorce your husband. Go ahead and divorce your wife. Go ahead and it's all right to just, have an affair or something. Taking advice from Reddit. I feel Twitter's the same way. I feel like it's like one of those, like, the vocal minority, vocal extremes are the loudest on Twitter. So, like, whenever, like, they attack Swery or criticize him for something like that, he is probably a very, like, emotional guy, and he takes it to heart, and then it's not even, like, controversial shit, but, like, memes, right? I think I pointed this out in my DP2 video. It's like, the writing style in Deadly Premonition 2 is so fucking self-aware that it's cringeworthy. I hate that. It's like it's like what happened with the Resident Evil TV series, which is, holy shit, some of the most cringeworthy shit on the planet. But it's like this new generation of writers that can't create original shit. They have to be constantly referencing something or self-aware. They have to break the fourth wall and be like, haha, we're in on the joke. We get it now. It's like what happened with Tommy Wiseau in The Room. Like, The Room can never be recreated. You cannot recapture that magic. But he tried. He tried to create this series called The Neighbors, which is awful on every level. It's like just straight up bad because it's low budget. He plays like 3 characters. Everything's so random and awkward, and it just stretches out, and it's painful. And I feel Deadly Premonition 2 fell victim to that. Like, Swery got this notoriety for, he makes bad games, so therefore he should never try and approach anything with sincerity. Just make me laugh. And I don't feel Deadly Premonition 1 was that way. Yes, it did have humorous moments that were intentionally humor. There's like a actual, there's in the soundtrack, it's like, I think one of the songs, like whenever there's a comedic moment, is actually called Comedic Moment or something like that. It's very on the nose, but Deadly Premonition 1 also had some very sincere moments too, and drama and horror. You know, it was a little bit of everything. And I think ultimately, like when you're dealing with social media and Reddit and YouTube even to a certain extent, people don't know what they want. They don't know how to write things. They don't know what makes something funny. They can recognize when something funny is told to them, but they don't always understand like what dominoes in place, like the setup, the punchline, that sort of thing, reoccurring jokes. That, like, you don't take your advice from Reddit. Don't take your advice from Twitter on matters of the heart, on matters of creativity, because they will always steer you in the wrong direction. I don't think, maybe it's me like being cynical, and I just think a lot of the stuff that I see that passes for entertainment nowadays is just absolute trash. And I feel partially responsible because I grew up in the budding era of meme culture and big impact font on still graphic and Catterday and all this shit. And now it's like warped out of control into memes of memes and spin-offs of memes, and like it's like 7th generation of incest memes is what I'm seeing right here. Just like absolute horrific mongoloid memes that are out there now. And they infiltrate, like, it was funny every once in a while, like whenever you would see internet culture referenced in mainstream media or movies or something. Like, I remember like cracking a smile during X-Men 3 whenever the Juggernaut, like the movie's absolute dog shit, but I did crack a smile when the Juggernaut said, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." I was like, oh my God, somebody on the internet put that, so they know the inside joke. But now that's something you can put on your resume. It's like, I am a moderator on our memes or our funny memes or whatever, and now you can write for Resident Evil, the show. You can just do it. And it absolutely disgusts me on a visceral level. Like, I can't watch shit. It's weird. Like, I can't watch anything past 2010 nowadays. I just don't enjoy it. I don't think anyone creates stuff from a sincere place. It's like, how do we reach it? Gen Z, right? And it sucks because Gen Z's robbed of good content. Like, they're robbed of actual story structures and original shit. Like, and it's not their fault. It really isn't. It's a lot of millennials that come in and try and impose their childhoods upon Gen Z and stuff like that, and like try and get them to, oh, hey, this childhood show, like even the Ninja Turtles to a certain extent here, like this childhood show that I grew up watching, we need to reboot that for the Rick and Morty generation or something like that. You know, it comes off as insincere, cheap, and aimed at the lowest common denominator. That's the best way I can put it. And maybe I'm just a curmudgeon when it comes to that, but I feel like Deadly Premonition 2 is like the first indication of Swery really falling off. The Good Life, he's absolutely, the cheese has slid off the cracker by the time he's reached the Good Life, but Deadly Premonition 2 like is cause for alarm. Ben says D4 had a strong writing and direction. What happened to Swery between D4 and DP2? As I said, it was social media really got into his head. It's he doesn't have people around. He doesn't have people that tell him no, which he had at Access Games. Like, he wasn't the head honcho over at Access Games. He had people that controlled the money. He had producers that would say, nah, this is probably bad. But it gave him some focus and direction. And I will say he's made some good stuff since he's been a part of White Owls. Like, The Missing is fantastic. DP2 has a moment or two, but The Good Life has absolutely nothing going for it. Absolutely nothing going. It is like, it's almost spectacular the amount of blandness that game put out. Somebody out there told me that was their favorite video I ever made. And I went back and watched it, and I was like, I remember when I was making the Good Life video, I had like a terrible cold. It wasn't COVID. It could have been. I don't know. I just felt delirious. Like, I was all dope. When I filmed all the live action stuff, I was doped up on like Dayquil and NyQuil at the same time. I don't even think you're supposed to mix those, but I did it. and I just did it in one take because like my voice was so raw and bad. But like I had like this moment of adrenaline, euphoria or whatever, and I filmed that. And I wasn't trying to be mean with it, but I was also really pissed off that I spent like $300 funding this game. Swear he truly is the George Lucas of video games. I think Deadly Premonition 1 has been ported or remade and retooled more than the Star Wars series, I want to say. It's a shame what happened to the original Deadly Premonition. And some people will just never know. They just won't get an Xbox ever, which sucks because the Xbox rules. The 360 rules. Like, even if you don't like Xbox One. By the way, Xbox Ones are super cheap, and if you just want something that plays good 360 games and upscales them and all that shit, maybe get a 1 or a 1X or something like that instead of getting the Series X. But that's all I really play on my old Xbox One is I just play 360 and Xbox original games and stuff. It's like the backwards compatibility is great. You can probably find like just a base Xbox One, like the Xbox One. You probably can find one super cheap. I picked mine up for $100. I had originally bought an Xbox One for like $350 or so when D4 first came out, and then after I reviewed D4, I sold it, and then like 4 or 5 years later, I bought another one for $100 with the Kinect. And I honestly was impressed with the Kinect. The 2.0 is not a bad device at all. By the way, if you're joining us, don't forget. That like. Get out of my face with that. Get out of my face. It's the least you can do. Thank you so much for leaving that like. I don't even know. YouTube's asleep. The algorithm will never find me down here. Where I'm at. Canny Boy says, I get PTSD from remembering my time with The Good Life legit. It is atrocious. One of the most repetitive games I've ever played. And I 100%ed the game. I 100%ed the game. So anyone who says I didn't give it a shake, I did. I really did. I'm getting all these points. What can I use them for? Turtle Lair? Special report, complete season, fitness journal. What? Oh, so these unlock? Okay, so your characters do get upgraded. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Oh, so there's little missions for each one of them. You know, when I'm not streaming, I'm going to sit down and play this with a friend or something. Hey, Hikiko, will you make a video for the OG Xbox games too? I think OG Xbox have interesting Sega games and platformers in there. I was wondering, just so I wanted to ask. Hey, Farouk, thanks so much for asking. Yeah, that's probably in the future. I don't know how close in the future because I just made an insane Wii video, but it'll definitely happen. I consider the OG Xbox to be like a Dreamcast 2, if you will. I'm sorry about this squeaky chair. I just bought this chair from Costco, and I need to grease it. I really do. I tried to record a video in this chair, and I just had to get a bench because it was really loud. Like it's probably picking up in the mic. I apologize for that. This is a brand new chair straight out of the Costco warehouse. If you're not playing on Xbox, you're missing out on lighting working. For Deadly Premonition, yeah. The only reason I haven't given my 360 away is for Nier Gestalt. It's on, you can play it on Xbox One. They added it to the Xbox backwards compatibility program, and it's in 60 frames. They uncapped the frame rate. So, definitively, the best way to play it is on the Xbox Series X. And I think Xbox One also got the 60 frames patch. But I love Nier Gestalt as well. I would say Never Dead might be a good reason for some people out there. But yeah, there are some games that just never got carried over through backwards compatibility. I think Capcom's Bionic Commando reboot didn't get one. There's a lot. There's honestly a lot. Operation Darkness. Did Infinite Undiscovery get one? I know Enchanted Arms did. But yeah, I probably own more 360 games for my Series X than Series X branded games. But that's not including Game Pass. If I included Game Pass, I have a massive library. Including this game, which I'm playing on. Oh! Almost had a Warriors moment there. Oh, that's how I do the slide kick. Nice. Spectre O'Malley says, hey, Hikiko, are you interested in the Dot Hack series? If so, will you make a video retrospective on it? I love Dot Hack. My background, my wallpaper is the Ultimate OS. If I could make like an animated desktop background of Ultimate that played the Dot Hack like desktop UI music, I'd be a happy boy. I love the original Dot Hack series with Kite and Black Rose, and the PS2 one that hasn't been ported to anything that I'm aware of. Yeah, I love Dot Hack. I love Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, Quarantine, I believe. That's the series I have. I have them all. I love the it just, it has that early MMO feel about it that's just not often replicated. And it's just a nice chill game to grind. The story's pretty good too. I do like learning about Kite's bracelet and the data drain and like how you have to use it. Like Dot Hack 1 has like one of the hardest bosses in the entire series. And I felt it was like a big personal achievement to beat that. Because I think he like automatically grabs and kills one of your characters. Yeah, I would definitely recommend if you're even tangentially interested in Dot Hack, trying to seek out Infection. And if you like Infection, it may be worth it to get the entire rest of the series. It's fairly expensive nowadays to buy the original line of Dot Hack. There's some of the rarer games on PS2, like each one got rarer. But the cool thing is, it has a data flag that carries along across like all 4 games. So you carry over your characters and data and items and stuff like that. And that was really cool at the time. Like the only other game that I could think that did that was the Suikoden series. So by that virtue, I just loved it. And I might, if I make a video on it, it wouldn't be like a full-blown retro, like it wouldn't be like a full in-depth retrospective. It would kind of be like an overview, because those Dot Hack games, I think it's like 120 hours, I want to say, to beat all 4 of them. But they're fantastic. I'd recommend them. Thanks for the question. Thoughts on the Silent Hill leaks? Fuck everyone who keeps leaking them. I don't believe them at all. I don't care if I'm proven wrong. I just don't believe them. I think everyone just uses these Silent Hill leaks to further their leaking credentials, and I even if they're true, if I give them the benefit of the doubt, Silent Hill is dead. It's fucking gone. Let it die, please. As a longtime Silent Hill fan, I'm not saying like, it's not possible that a good one can come out, but I feel like Silent Hill lives on through like the indie scene. There's a lot of projects out there that are inspired by Silent Hill, or that have been inspired since Silent Hill died. I mentioned one of them, but like Lone Survivor, I feel is like one that is very close to capturing Silent Hill, more so than any ones that I've played. There's like a million PT clones out there, derivatives, but there's another work in progress right now. There's a few of them that are going on. They're the people that grew up playing Silent Hill that are making it, but I just don't think it's kind of a monkey paw wish. Be careful what you wish for, because what you're going to get is not going to be anything that even remotely resembles the third person atmospheric environment focus, like where every room had its kind of like own distinct details and care. I feel like it's going to be something like The Medium was. If you haven't watched it, I do have a video that kind of shares more about my thoughts on modern day Silent Hills and all the perils and pitfalls that could befall the series. And I think a lot of them just don't understand that most of the Silent Hill games were very restrained. They were subtle. They were subtle, surrealistic horror, okay? You didn't have motor mouth protagonists. You had just isolated cutscenes here and there. You had mostly just text on the screen of them giving their inner thoughts on the situation, but like not overdoing it, like leaving room for the imagination. And I feel that a lot of modern developers lack imagination. They lack the ability to shut the fuck up for 10 minutes at a time and just let the atmosphere and characters breathe for a fucking second. Let the horror set in. And I feel like everything has to be like an Outlast approach, like where it's jump scares or an Amnesia kind of thing, like where they rely on just cheap thrills. And I feel like, Silent Hill for the longest time was an acquired taste. People don't remember that, but Silent Hill really didn't get its cult status, its notoriety, its beloved nature and then mainstream till around the time, sadly, the movie came out. I think a lot of people's first exposure to Silent Hill nowadays is through the movie. So they have this kind of opaque view of what Silent Hill could be. It's iconography like Pyramid Head and the mist and the fog and all that shit. I don't think we're ever gonna get a true, successor or revival to the series. I think maybe Kojima was onto something, like where he knew that he couldn't recapture that the same style as the Team Silent before him, so he kind of went in a different direction entirely. And now I can't say that PT in itself would have been a great Silent Hill game, but I have no doubts in my mind that it would have been a memorable and good game. But Silent Hill as we know it is just dead. What it's going to be is going to be some different vision with Silent Hill slapped on it that really doesn't channel the soul or the structure of the originals. I just don't think that's possible in this day and age, to just have like a third-person horror game without any, DLC or weapon upgrades and all this other shit that they'll tack on. I just don't think so. The more likely outcome for Silent Hill is probably going to be a Life is Strange, Telltale adventure shit, where the protagonist gaslights themselves, and they're an unreliable narrator, and then they were actually the monsters. Aren't we deep plot? And I hate that shit. I think it's patronizing. You're robbing a whole new generation of players of art, and something deeper, I feel. And the writers around nowadays just, they're just going to do broad strokes of Silent Hill. It's just going to be a broad strokes, like hit all the beats, have a Pyramid Head equivalent, have them have Pyramid Head be a stand-in for my father. My dad was actually the true monster all along. It's another poorly written tale about PTSD. And that's how that goes. Speaking of Let It Die 2 is pretty much confirmed, if I recall correctly. There is a successor to Let It Die, not by Grasshopper, but by Gung Ho, the guys who helped develop it and publish it. I forget what it's called. It's called like Death Battle something or other. Oh boy, you guys are asking all the deep questions. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble keeping up with chat here today. You guys are asking all these deep questions. There is a super chat button. All super chats are appreciated. I did have an unexpected expense come at me more recently. I can't really go into it, but it was kind of bad. So that'll get your shit seen. If you want questions asked or answered, that's a good way of doing that. And I appreciate everyone, all the members I see in here. I see Garden back shout out, Mr. T, longtime supporter. Good to see you. Hold on. Let me see what I can filter out in this chat here. Thoughts on Resident Evil going first person with 7? I personally prefer the over-the-shoulder camera or fixed camera angles. I like that we've got... It's like having two simultaneous styles going on at once. The remake series is damn near flawless. I like them all, including Resident Evil 3. I don't care if I'm the contrarian on that position. I like the speed of it. I like 7 more than I like 8. And yes, that's probably also another contrarian position. But I feel 7 is more of a slower horror, and there's time to kind of like appreciate the environment. I thought the environment was also fairly unique with the bayou setting. I think 8 retreads a lot of the similar territory as Resident Evil 4. That was deliberate. A lot of it was deliberate. Like, hey, remember Resident Evil 4? That's what we're going for here. So yeah, it has more mainstream. Some guy just like completely got on my ass. I remember when Resident Evil 8 came out, and I went through it, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to go through it again. Whereas like Resident Evil 7, I wanted to go through and try different things, and all the DLC campaigns of Resident Evil 7 were very creative. I really especially loved the Uncle Joe Baker, the End of Zoe campaign. Fantastic. Resident Evil 8 just didn't have, I don't know. It feels like there's too many monsters introduced at once, and not a lot going on in the plot that was interesting. And so, especially near the very end, it gets stupid, just outright dumb. I mean, and I expect as much from Resident Evil. I don't hold it to like some high-ass standard. Resident Evil's always had some stupid things in the plot, so. But, I mean, I just felt Ethan Winters deserved better, and that's I'll leave it at that. J-Spot with the $10. Massive donut. Thank you so much with the $10 super chat saying, I've missed the cool stream. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, buddy. More than you know. I've missed it too. Since you donated, I'll kind of I'll go on a brief tangent. It's kind of a contradiction there, a brief tangent. But the reason why I don't do the cool stream so much is that YouTube, for whatever reason, punishes people for streaming. Like I would consider myself more of a long form content creator. Streams are just a fun thing I do to connect with everyone who shows up. It's good. I enjoy talking with people. I really don't get to talk with anyone in my real life except for like my close friends about video games. Like nobody else knows what I do, nor would I like brag about it or share it. I find that kind of cringe, to talk about YouTube in general. If anyone found out in my real life, like there are people in my real life that do know. I just try and like drop the subject. I'm like, yeah, it's just, I do that. Yeah, I talk about games. No, nothing you've heard of. Nothing you heard of. Just games that, I grew up playing or whatever. I got strong opinions on things. Moving on, But the cool stream, I feel YouTube punishes people for streaming too much because it all boils down to like analytics, the amount of watch time. Like not everyone's going to watch a full stream. Not everyone's going to tune into a stream. Like maybe they just tune in for the regular content, which is what they're here for. So in many ways, like streaming kind of fucks with all your stats, if you will. It's like essentially gimping yourself in many ways. It's just like telling YouTube like, oh, not anyone, the people who are subbed aren't watching, therefore your channel's failing, therefore we're not going to push it. And it's really fucking weird because like I don't know what it's like money-wise on YouTube's end. But wouldn't you want to like draw more people to your streaming platform and like encourage things like super chats and memberships and things like that and like really boost that? Because it's just free money for YouTube, really. Like they get such a big cut of the pie as it is. So I don't get it. So that's kind of like why I have to unlist. I have to throw cool streams in its own playlist and stuff like that. So the people who do want to watch them, they'll go there and watch it and stuff like that. And that's really what it boils down to. Like, I love streaming. If I could be a full-time big dick streamer, 8 hours a day and just bullshit all the time, I would love to. But I also feel like there's another. I'm a video content maker. Like I make videos. And that's what people sub for. And I feel like streaming also kind of like overexposes yourself in a way too. Like if I streamed all the time, people just get sick of me. It's just like it's like dating. Like when you're first trying to date someone, like if you're constantly texting and calling them and making yourself available, well then, what's the point? There's no room left to be desired, if you will. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. People tune in because I haven't streamed in a while, and I missed it too. So it kind of works both ways. But if I streamed all the time, it would be like a very different interaction between me and you. It would be me like trying to grow my audience and playing the flavor of the week games rather than something I genuinely wanted to play. I don't know. There's a lot of school of thoughts. I'm not a pro streamer, but that's just like my outside glance on the whole thing. I love streaming. I want to stream more for you guys, but it would kill my channel if I streamed all the time. So we'll just kind of treat it to every now and then and see how it works. And I'll keep putting out the good content, and that'll be my bargain with you. Hey, Near Snape, what's up? Just got in from an evening out. This is a damn good Friday. Nice to see you back, Hikiko. Good to see you. By the way, let me bug you. Leave that, like, squeaky-ass Costco chair in the background there. I'm going to grease this chair for the next stream. I didn't realize how squeaky this chair could get. I move a lot. I'm a Nancy kind of gamer. I got to be moving. And it's weird, like, when I do rock back and forth, sometimes it doesn't squeak. What's going on here? This consistency. Real life people think DP is something else. I wonder what that could mean. Is retro video game collecting dead? Says No Laugh. That is a long fucking tangent. If somebody wants to super chat, I will break down my thoughts on retro game collecting. It's insane, but I will not do it for free. I will run out of breath. Oh my God, Garden back with the $5. Thank you. £5. British pounds. Keep up the content you love to make. Thank you so much, Garden back. Appreciate you. Thanks for, I saw you up in the Discord too. Yeah, so, okay. We'll bounce off of that retro game because Gardenback was so generous to donate there. I think in general, the retro game bubble is already popped. It may not have reflected in some of the prices, but that's because there's a bunch of Gen Xers out there that built their entire fucking careers around inflating the prices of said retro games, that they are too prideful to let it go for any lower. I also feel that the retro market is absolutely rigged now. What was it? Was it Wada? There's like a video game auction site going out right now that's like inflating the prices of things. I think there was like a Super Mario 64 for, I kid you not, $1 million sealed. Insanity. And I believe they also own the company that graded the game that determined that price. Like, who determines these prices? Like, in a normal market, in a normal economy, it's whatever the buyers are willing to pay. Well, who bought it for $1 million? Who fixed that price? I think it's a lot of price fixing, is what I'm saying. There was a YouTuber that kind of went deeper into this. Like, I kind of got a window view into it, but I used to be a pretty big retro game collector, and I still have a very respectable collection. And I don't sell my shit because that's not why I got into collecting. I got into collecting in around 2008 or so, and I did it because I was trying to buy all the games that I had to sell as a kid. Like, basically, when I was growing up, I would get a game every once in a while, but if I wanted to try anything new, the next generation of games or whatever, I'd have to sell my old generation of collection. And that, with some exceptions here and there, I pretty much sold a lot of my collection growing up. And then whenever I entered my 20s and I had income and retro games weren't insane as they were, I ended up rebuying a lot of my collection, and oftentimes a lot cheaper than they originally launched. And now everything in the market is just fucked. There's a dime a dozen YouTuber out there that's always talking about retro games and how much they paid for. And like there's game hunting series. There's entire conventions dedicated to it. But I feel that is falling out of fashion in general. And I say that because it's always the newer generation that supplants the older one and determines the market. And I feel like people grow up, they have more responsibilities. They want to, the economy's going to get rough. And my heart really does go out to people in Europe. Like I think I heard about like in Germany, they like raised the cap of energy to like 2,100. I don't know if that's Deutschmarks or whatever, but like energy costs are about to get insane. It's going to be a brutal winter for people. And usually when that shit happens, people sell stuff off. And then there's other alternatives that enter the market. You got flash carts. It's easier now than ever to just buy like a Retron and a flash cart, or an NES and a flash cart, and have the entire library on one SD card, and then get your nostalgic fix played on your CRT, whatever you want to do. So accessibility, everyone knows how to like use RetroArch or pull up a guide on YouTube to fire up ROMs and emulators and shit like that. There's almost no reason to own the original game anymore. I mean, like, unless you're, I guess, a competitive speedrunner and there's certain rules and regulations and you want no lag whatsoever, you want to play on a CRT, you want to do it as authentically as possible. I mean, unless that's something that you're into, there's no practical reason to go for, that generation of games. And now if we start going up into, like, Sega Saturn and Dreamcast and PS2 and PS3 and stuff like that, there's an argument to be made that it's better on the original system. Like, you're going to get the more authentic experience with, no missing textures or glitches or odd happenings like that. But for the NES, everything plays NES. Everything plays Atari. Everything, like your phone does. A lot of phones can play PS2s just fine. I think Dolphin is running just fine on telephones. So the market's changed. The environment's changed since when I started collecting. I will sell my collection eventually. I am going to die one day, folks. I have to have some plans for it. So probably sooner rather than later. I got a while before I hit 40. I got a long while before I hit 40. But I want to say my timeline is sometime before I hit 40. I'll get rid of it. I don't know about my PS2 collection. My PS2 collection I'll probably take with me to my grave, because that's my favorite system ever made. But I have sold some of my NES games. Hey, nice stream layout. Looking pretty badass. Yeah, I just redid it a little bit. It's not as cluttered as it once was. If you look over here, that little LCD with the angle, that's how I always play my games. I've got an actual stand in my office that holds my 50-inch TV, and it's got a swivel on it. And I always play at a 45-degree angle. So I thought, let's make it authentic. Yeah, everything else is just kind of in theme with the channel. Godspeed, old man Hikiko. Emulators definitely are the right way to preserve media. I think so. I'm not opposed to them whatsoever. Even when it comes to more modern gen consoles, there are people that are saying like, well, don't get a Switch. It's unethical to get a Switch emulator like Yuzu. Hey, $4.99 super chat from No Love. Love to see you make a retrospective on the Parasite Eve series plus the third birthday. I think that's a great idea. No laugh. No, is it no loaf? Like no loaf of bread? Hold that thought. I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I'm going to come back with a snack, too. I'll be right back. Squeaky ass chair. I'm already annoyed. Okay, here's my stream snacks here. These are called Aussie Bites. Aussie Bites are, I guess, some like healthy muffin thing. They've got oats, apricots, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, honey, coconut, quinoa, chia seeds, and more. I don't know if Australians really eat this shit, but I really enjoy them. I get them at Costco a lot, but they're a good kind of healthy snack. If you couldn't tell, I've lost some weight. I've lost some fat, but I gained some muscle. And I've really kind of changed my life a little bit. Like, I started about last summer going to the gym. And there was 1 month that I fucked up and I didn't go. But that's because I was on vacation and it was really too hot to even leave the house. We had like this record heat wave. And, but yeah, I've kind of kept up with it. So healthy snacks on the Cool stream for the time being. Okay, let me pause real quick. And no loaf, I'm going to answer your question. Bradley Anderson. Kind of off topic, but do you still watch Sam Hyde in the Gang? I'm a big $1 Million Extreme fan. I've talked with Sam a couple of times. My friend ended up making some music that ended up on World Peace. If you're familiar with Sam Hyde's World Peace, the short-lived Adult Swim show, killed too soon. My friend made the theme song for the Wall Show bit. So if you remember the Wall Show, that's my friend. I was kind of like unintentionally my friend's manager. Like I got him in touch with Sam Hyde and then boom, he ended up, and my friend even got like a weird little contract from Adult Swim. But I think I'm still subscribed to Sam's Gumroad. For a period of time, I was. I also have his book, which I can't say on stream. Looking healthy, Hikiko. Thank you. Yeah, the wall sketch. Yeah, my friend made the song for that, but I don't really know Sam on a personal level. I've just interacted with him a couple of times. But I think he's really funny. I could go into like a whole big Sam Hyde world peace rant, but I'll spare you. Just know I'm a big fan. Let's see. No Love's question. Will you ever make a Parasite Eve 3rd birthday retrospective? There have been a couple of times that I attempted doing that on my channel. No joke. I played through Parasite Eve multiple times, trying to capture footage and jot down things I wanted to say. But I wanted to play Parasite Eve in a way that looked presentable because I was always playing it on something like the Vita TV, the PlayStation TV, or I was playing it on PSP or something because I just really liked playing it on the PSP. And whenever I looked at the capture, it just looked ugly. So I just ended up with a bunch of footage that just looked bad. And I'm like, well, presentation is a lot. And I didn't want to like go through with the project unless it looked good. So I've since found some emulators that kind of bump up the resolution and bump up the aspect ratio to 16:9 and stuff. I'm trying to like do it to where it's not all stretched out. So that, I mean, technical reasons, that's a big reason why. I'm actually nostalgic for Parasite Eve because the Christmas it came out, I got it for Christmas. I associate it a lot with my childhood. And I think it's kind of like one of the finest horror RPGs out there. And I think a lot of people just are overly harsh on its sequels. Like, I like Parasite Eve 2. I love The Third Birthday. As flawed as they are, there's a real reason why they don't really continue on the same story plot or the threads as the first one. And I think the first one is pretty well self-contained as it is. And the direction the series goes is just kind of like an evolution. Like they wanted to, you know, like if you want more like Parasite Eve 1, then play Vagrant's story. It uses the same engine. But Parasite Eve 2 tried to blend that with a more third-person Resident Evil style of thing. And I do think it does work. I wasn't a huge fan of it when I played it as a kid. Funny story, I did play Parasite Eve 2 at my grandma's house. I brought it over to my grandma's house, and she showed up during the cutscene where this where the first mutant happens, like where there's this lady in the restaurant and her skin rips apart and all of her hair falls out and she turns into one of the mutants. And my grandma was like, "What is this?" Like my grandma had never seen a video game cutscene, and that was her first exposure, was the fucking mutant in Parasite Eve 2, the first mutation. So I always remember that. But The Third Birthday I have fond memories of. Like, of course it's a bit more you know, Tetsuya Nomura. I think it was Hajime Tabata that wrote it, but it feels more like a, you know, a Final Fantasy plot than it does Parasite Eve. But I think the combat is a lot of fun. Like I love The Third Birthday's combat, the cover wall system, warping between different units and setting up like snipers and shit like that. I think it was really clever. And I kind of like that about the series, is like how it tried to evolve the premise a bit more. But I don't think it's as gripping as the first story. Like the first story was really dark and gory and graphic. There's some seriously fucked up things. And I feel like that's the reason why Parasite Eve 1 works so well is because it's a pre 9/11 game. It's one of those games that could only be made like pre 9/11. Like there's so much fucked up shit that happens to New York City and Parasite Eve and all the people that live there that there's no way. I mean, like I think Parasite Eve 2 came out in 2000, so it just missed that. But there's I don't know. Maybe you could do it now. Like maybe enough time has passed that you could remake Parasite Eve 1. But like you got to consider that you're dealing with the destruction of New York City and the melting of people into mitochondria slime. And I just don't think that would play well with the higher ups in Square Enix. So yeah, maybe that's why it didn't show up on the PlayStation Classic as well. Like it showed up on the PlayStation Classic in Japan, but it didn't show up on the PlayStation Classic in North America. And that always pissed me off. Musicology says he knows the Candyman. Yeah. I watched Sam's fight. It was really the only good fight out of that whole event. Just a moment. These cakes are really dry. Musicology. It this was Parasite Eve 2, not Parasite Eve 1. Parasite Eve 2's mutation, it's when Aya is in LA, in Los Angeles. Aya is in Los Angeles, and one of these buildings have been taken over by the mitochondria creatures, right? And Aya goes into this cafe and sees this lone woman. She's sitting there reading a book or something. And Aya goes over to like say, hey, you need to evacuate. But the lady, she just starts having convulsions and shit. And that's when my grandma came in. My grandma came in to like see what I was up to. And it just started that cutscene. And I couldn't skip the cutscene. I was just sitting there, and this lady's just like convulsing out, and her face is ripping apart. All of her hair's falling out. All of her clothes fall off, and she turns into this big alien. And my grandma had never seen a video game cutscene, and that's what she saw. She sat and watched the whole thing. And I was just like, it's fine, Grandma. It's just an alien. I couldn't explain to my grandma what a mitochondrian creature was. It was just an alien. It's no big deal. It's like X-Files, Grandma. That's what I said to her. Yeah, not the camel thing. The camel thing happens whenever Aya gets to Dryfield, which is like the second half of Disc 1. Go look up Parasite Eve 2 cutscenes. You'll know which one it is. It's the most graphic one they have in the game. It's better than getting caught playing Kingdom Hearts during the mermaid dance. Oh, I'd blank that out. I played through the first two Kingdom Hearts games when they first came out. And I always, like, none of my friends gave a fuck. They just love video games. All the people I hung with would come over. They would have no context for what Kingdom Hearts was or Final Fantasy. They'd just be like, oh, this is cool. New game? And then they'd be like, oh, Disney characters. And I don't think they would ever judge me on that. Now, if I was playing like something like Dream Drop Distance or something like that and feeding and rubbing all my animals, maybe they would. But I don't know. I think I could get away with the whole mermaid dance. When I was in high school, Chain of Memories came out for Game Boy Advance. And I thought that was the coolest shit in the world because the Game Boy Advance had like this really terrible video encoder for it. Like Cartoon Network put out some movies. I think Shrek was released. The entire feature movie was released on Game Boy Advance. I might actually have that. But I was impressed that Kingdom Hearts had like video cutscenes on the Game Boy Advance. And I do recall my friends gathering around and we like checked out Chain of Memories. And I actually got into that. I think Chain of Memories was one of the games I remember most fondly because I like building decks. Give me a good deck building game and I'll sit down and 100% it. And I just had some crazy deck on Chain of Memories. And I think I beat it. I beat all the hidden bosses. I went through the Riku mode and everything. And that's about where I dropped off on Kingdom Hearts. Like 3 I thought was kind of boring. Dream Drop Distance, I got bored when I had to run through again as Riku. Like, I've played almost every one of the spin-offs, but I can't connect with any of the characters or the plot. And when Kingdom Hearts 3 removed Final Fantasy characters, I fell off entirely. I was like, fuck this. I played like the Toy Story level, I played the Monsters Inc. level, and I was like, fuck this. And I didn't go back. I'm sure they're fine games, but they lost me. I thought 2 was probably the best in the series. Chain of Memories was pretty good. 1 is hard to go back to, but 2 is a fine game. Yo Hikiko, love your channel. Just got a Wii U, says Lars. Hey Lars, awesome. I would recommend you some games, but I feel like you already know my recommendation, so I won't. Definitely though, if you're gonna take one piece of my advice, get the large capacity gamepad battery. It'll take you literally like 2 minutes to change out, maybe a minute, if you're good. Make sure you get a small, reliable screwdriver that doesn't strip screws. That's the only thing you gotta watch out for. I think it's like I don't think it's the Tri-Wing. I think it's a Phillips head screwdriver, the 4 instead of the 3. But get that going. You'll be set. Hack it, put Chibi Robo on that gamepad, and you'll be set. Yoko says, do you read watch Made in Abyss? That's on my to-watch anime list. I haven't watched it yet, but I've been intrigued by it. I liked some of the monster designs. I was like, oh, this looks like it could get pretty dark. So I'll give it a watch, and I'll let you know. I kind of slacked this summer. Usually every summer I get caught up on animes. All the new stuff. Like, we have Crunchyroll, so I was going to, but I didn't because I've just been really busy in my personal life. But I think this is a good weekend to watch some anime. Should I watch Made in Abyss this weekend? I think I might. But thanks for the recommendation. I completely forgot about that. I did see the game out too. So if I like the anime, I will play the game. That doesn't always work out though. Animes don't always adapt well to games. I think that rocked the boat a little bit whenever I was talking like Samurai Champloo. I absolutely love Samurai Champloo, but the game is trash. It really is. Why is Game & Wario so bloody expensive? Says Nolof. Nintendo doesn't really have faith in the Wario franchise, if you couldn't tell. So it had a pretty low print run. I don't know if it was worldwide, but I know in North America, it's one of the rarer games to find. That and Wii Sports... I think it's Wii Sports Club. I think. Finding a physical version of that on the Wii U is pretty hard too. It was... The funny thing is, like, that game I think released episodically too. Like, you could get a trial version of Wii Sports Club, and then I guess you could like buy the rest of the game in installments or some shit. But then it got a physical release. But the Wii, by the time that got a physical release, like, the Wii U was dead. Like, GameStop was already clearing shelf space. It's rare to find just physical Wii U games in general. To find a store that carries any physical. Hey, Leatherhead. And that's sad because, as you know, your boy Hikiko loves the Wii U. I'm a pretty big Wii U stan. And it's not just a sunk cost fallacy thing because I bought it at launch. I just think there was a lot of untapped potential. Just kind of like the Virtual Boy. I love the Virtual Boy. Maybe released a little bit too soon. But the games on there, the first party games are fantastic. It's got one of the best Wario games of all time. And so does the Wii U. I love Game & Wario. But yeah, I wanted to make that Nintendo Wii video to be a companion piece to the Wii U one. So like if you were gonna buy a Wii U, and you know you didn't like any of the Wii U games, you'd at least have a lot of recommendations for Nintendo Wii games. But I would definitely recommend hacking it, homebrew it, get rid of that fucking region lock. That's a crime. Region lock should be a crime. That's over what? Just a moment. It's really dry. I guess these frogs want me to do something here. Collect all disgusting bugs for the punk frogs. Okay. We lost all our disgusting bugs. Can you guys help? Slurp. Okay. I guess that's throughout the stages. Cool. Cool. Let's see if anyone joins. I'll read some chat while I'm waiting. Grover says, Made in Abyss is haunting but good. I felt the same way about Grave of the Fireflies. I still can't get over that movie. Did you like Rodeo on the Wii U at all? I never played it. Wasn't that made by the creator of Sonic? One of the creators of Sonic? I've seen it around. I know it got a Wii, Wii U, and 3DS port. Bradley says, are you going to make a 2-hour analysis on the Alone in the Dark reboot trailer? There's not much to say about it. It looks like a pretty good, like, noir story-focused thing. It didn't really display too much of, like, what the monsters are going to be or how combat's going to work necessarily. But I'm intrigued. I really like Alone in the Dark 4. I think 1 is good, 2 and 3 are bad, 4 is great, even though it's kind of like a reboot. But the 2008 one is the definition of so bad it's good. The 2000, I think it's 2008. If you played on the 360, and you just get used to how terrible it is and how you're going to die all the time, it can be fun because you can duct tape together items. Like you can duct tape like a glow stick and a water bottle together for whatever reason. You can pour alcohol on bullets and make flaming bullets and other stuff. The MacGyver aspects of the remake were good. And then there was another Alone in the Dark remake that released, I think, on PC only. I'm not sure if it's a reboot or a continuation, but no one ever mentions that. So I don't know too much about that, but I've played the original trilogy of Alone in the Dark, and they are kind of they're an acquired taste because I don't know, not a lot of people. You got to be a certain kind of gamer. You got to have the patience to play something that's a bit more archaic, like pre-Resident Evil era survival horror with really bad hit detection and odd, slow animation. But they're good. Ultimately, they're a lot of fun. 4, I think, is the best in the series overall. I actually was playing some of 4 the other day on the Dreamcast. I have an SD reader for my Dreamcast, and I was up and testing it. And I forgot how much I love the soundtrack of Alone in the Dark 4. Alone in the Dark 4 feels like a Lost Trent Reznor OST or something like that. Some of the tracks go on for like 10, 15 minutes. It's very atmospheric and oppressive, industrial. I like Alone in the Dark 4 a lot. I had a demo disc of it like way back in the day and scared the bejabbers out of me. Alone in the Dark Illumination was a third-person co-op Left 4 Dead style shooter. Is that what it was, Garden Pack? They made a Left 4 Dead shooter, Alone in the Dark. Oh my god. Talk about missing the point. Alone in the Dark 4 is my favorite horror game. Amazing soundtrack, but I know Illumination is the thing that makes me skeptical. Hold up. What? Is it the same people that made the bad Alone in the Dark? Are they making this new one? Who's making the new one? There goes my combo. I know for a fact that I'll be getting it, though. I've been craving a good Alone in the Dark game. So much so that I wanted to go back through 4 again. Didn't I already kill Wingnut? He's back for round 2, I guess. Wingnut was my favorite fighter to play as in tournament fighters, though. He's got a pretty good moveset. He plays like T-Hawk, I believe, from Street Fighter. Donatello, of course, too. Donatello has like a broken bow staff move. The hitboxes are insane on Donatello's tournament fighter character. I think you can beat the entire game by just mashing X. Cowabunga. Oh, Yuji Naka made that one. Most people hated the Wii U version. I know that they were aware that the Wii U version of Rodea was bad, so they bundled in the Wii version with it. So when you buy Rodea, you can buy... When you buy the Wii U version, they tucked in the Wii version, which is a separate disc, I believe. It was unheard of at the time. But Yuji Naka has kind of a really bad track record of games in general. I think my favorite thing he's created is Nights into Dreams, but I mean, I really like the Sega Saturn. But he's held in such a high regard, but I think like other developers that he's worked with don't necessarily like him, and I don't know the reason why. I remember he had a meltdown like last month. And he was like doing weird things like photoshopping at other developers out of group photos and posting it to his Twitter. There's some Yuji Naka deep lore that I don't know, but I can just tell from a glance that something's up with that guy. There was that Balan Wonderworld or whatever, where you just played the entire game with one button. I think some of the better Sonic games didn't have his involvement. I honestly think Sonic Mania is better than all the original Sonics, and I love the original Sonics. I grew up playing them, but I'm just like, Sonic Mania is just way better in every regard. I'm sure that's a controversial opinion somewhere with some people, but... Yuji Naka is problematic? How is he problematic? What has he done? Do all copies of Rodea come with the Wii version? All new copies, I believe. I don't think it's a necessarily rare game, so... Good dodge. I think a lot of these, there are very few developers, I think, that, you know, can carry the quality with them as they age. I'm not trying to, like, put Yu Suzuki on blast here, but that's probably the most recent example I can think of something that was just absurdly overhyped, like Shenmue 3. People were crying during the press conference, and just, I don't know. I had a character on this channel that just talks shit on Shenmue. Does anyone remember that? I had a character called the Gaijin of Dojima, who was like the biggest Yakuza stan ever. It was just telling people to get over Shenmue. Yakuza's the future, and I feel I was vindicated. I feel Shenmue 3 vindicated me in that character. No, Loaf, you gotta give props for Let's Tap. Yeah, that was the hardest thing to film. I was trying to find, like, the most gimmicky, weird games. I mean, I could have put Babysitting Mama on that video, but the only person I know that had Babysitting Mama was Kirk. And we took the Babysitting Mama baby that he had, and we lit it on fire for the Shattered Memories video. So I'm not sure if he still has that, but if he does, it's like a baby that's completely burned. And I didn't want to include that in the video, but I tried to find like the most gimmicky or weird stuff I could find on the Wii for that video, because that's always what I'm into. Let's Tap is okay. It's just okay. The gimmick wears off pretty quickly though, and it doesn't work all the time. It's another case like where I feel it could have benefited from Wii Motion Plus, or maybe a special peripheral besides that box, besides a greasy ass pizza box. I love Shenmue, but I have a hard time calling it a good game. I will argue that Shenmue 1 and 2 are decent experiences, not so much games. And a lot of that has to do with like the real-time engine and stuff, and not necessarily, I don't know. It can be kind of slow. Like, you have to be in a right mindset for it. When I played Shenmue, I was like much younger, and I didn't have many games, so it was cool. Like, I loved a game that would take a long time, because I would get my money's worth. It was right around the time, like, I don't know, I think I was in high school or something. Like, Shenmue came out when I was in middle school, when I just started middle school, but I couldn't afford a Dreamcast. So when the Dreamcast came down in price, like, GameStop was, like, clearancing out all their Dreamcast games. Like, I got, like, even my copy of Illbleed, I got everything up for, like, 50% off. All the Dreamcast games that they had on sale were 50% off. The Dreamcast system was, like, only $60 at the time. So I spent, like, $60, and I probably spent, like, another $60 and ended up with 10 games. It was insane. And Shenmue and Illbleed were a part of that. And, I remember one winter I sat down and I played through Shenmue, and I really enjoyed it. And, like, going back to it, I really do like the memories I have with Shenmue. I'm just not a fan of, like, the Virtual Fighter style combat, I guess you could say. I've never liked that, even back then. I do like all the little details, like picking up objects. I like the cheesy voice acting, and all the characters are cool and iconic, like Tom. And but it sucks because it's kind of like a D4 situation. Like, I love it so much and it starts so well, but the whole kind of experience is tainted by the fact that there's not an ending. And that's when I found that out about Shenmue 3, that he wanted to, like, continually pursue it as a series, which, what the fuck was he thinking? Like, Yu Suzuki was so, I don't know, he was so lucky to have that kind of support for such a niche game, to have all these people around the world, like, fund, you know, a final chapter, for him to not release a final chapter and then just, like, you know, pull a Keiji Inafune and try and milk it for what it's worth, just left such a bad taste in my mouth. Like, he had the chance to end it once and for all, and he really didn't go for it. There's not going to be a Shenmue 4. Like, I guess the closest thing we're going to get is the anime, and I guess the anime is out on Adult Swim, but I haven't had cable forever. and like Adult Swim's canceling shit left and right. So I just don't know that it's gonna be around or be finished. It'll just be another unfinished Shenmue to add to the pile. But yeah, it makes me sad because I think there is potential there. I mean, it's a basic revenge plot. There's not a lot to say about it, but just being able to like the life sim aspects of Shenmue are what really draw me to it. But I feel once again everything Shenmue tries to do, Yakuza almost does better, and anyone can get into it. I think the only thing Yakuza might not have on it is like the life sim aspect. They're not as well developed, but it does have a few things here and there that you can go through, like tons of sub stories, characters, story arcs, and it's such a crazy long series. And each entry, even though like you mostly spend time in Kamurocho, has something like very unique about it that makes you want to try it out. Shenmue 3 was a filler episode, yeah. One controller port says, I passed up Ill Bleed for Blue Stinger. I don't regret it, but it was also probably the wrong choice from a game pricing perspective. I like both games, but I think Ill Bleed is my favorite Dreamcast game, hands down. I think what Blue Stinger was trying to do was rush out the first Resident Evil survival horror as quickly as possible. They rushed that game out so quickly that it actually predates the Dreamcast by like a couple of weeks, I believe. Blue Stinger's great. The characters are hilarious. I really like the different weapons and costumes and unique things about it. And if you play the Japanese version, it's just a solid game. But I would say overall, Illbleed was more ambitious and risky, and you will never see anything like it again. Nobody would be so bold to pull off Zodic the Hellhog. No one. There are few developers with the guts to do something like that. That would jeopardize their entire livelihood to tell a stupid-ass joke. And for that, Illbleed is legendary. And I'm just a fan of horror movies in general, and Illbleed is a throwback to so many good horror movies and Toy Story. But so many good horror movies that like I'm always picking up on new references that I missed. I love the different characters and their attributes, and like running through the game as different characters or trying to beat levels as Brainless Randy and stuff. Like the game is beautiful. Blue Stinger, I have to be in the right mood for it. It's a good Christmas game, though. I'll give it that. I will give it that. I only played Yakuza 3, but I think it lacks the world detail and the slower pacing that Shenmue has, so it doesn't replace it, but I understand the sentiment. Listen, I love Yakuza 3, but if you're judging the entire series based off of Yakuza 3, you're making a big mistake. Okay? The most dyed-in-the-wool Yakuza fans would not recommend Yakuza 3 as your entry point. Like maybe Kiwami or something, but Yakuza 5, hell, even Yakuza 6, just jump in at Yakuza 6, or Like a Dragon. But, I mean, I love 3. I think it's a fantastic setting and a great sentimental story, but Yakuza 3 only works because of the foundation built in Yakuza 1 and 2. Like the characters like of Haruka and Kazuma, like their relationships really fleshed out in the 3 games, and especially so in 3, and especially so in 6. So if you're gonna play, dude, you gotta go back and play Kiwami and Kiwami 2. I don't know what to tell you. It's like fucking, yeah, guys. I got started with Hellraiser 3. I just started the Hellraiser series with Hellraiser 3. Is the rest of the series like this? With the fucking CD head Cenobite? No. No, it's not. 3 was kind of butchered to hell in its localization. We're missing a... I think they fixed that in the HD collection, but the PS3 version was missing a lot of content from the North American version. But I still didn't care at the time because I bought a PlayStation 3 specifically to play Yakuza 3. And I was just so happy that it got localized that I didn't give a fuck. But, yeah, it's fantastic. But Yakuza 4 smokes it. Absolutely. Yakuza 5 smokes it. Absolutely. Musicology, did you play through Illbleed? I have respect for anyone who plays through Illbleed. I consider you a better gamer for having played it. I honestly disrespect people who haven't played Illbleed. Fuck off. Fuck off with your dumb, Illbleedless takes, okay? Nah, I'm just kidding. But, there is a certain sentiment to that, too. I had a conversation the other day. They asked, like, somebody had asked me, like, why am I a YouTuber? Like, why do I make videos? Why do I talk about games and all this stuff like that? Like, what do I think I have to offer? Like, what makes my perspective unique, essentially? And that's kind of a tough question to answer because, like, I'm on the inside looking out. Like, I don't know what other people think until they tell me. But I feel like I have played so many games, like a broad spectrum of games. Good, bad, terrible, unplayable, broken, everything. Great games, like stuff that brought me to tears. My encyclopedic experience, not necessarily knowledge, but experience. Like just being able to like draw parallels between two games that nobody else would connect is probably, I feel, my strength. Is I've played a lot of games, good and bad. And I feel like what that lends to a reviewer or somebody like, I don't know if I'm a historian, whatever you want to call me, just like a curator. I don't know what you want to call me, but just as somebody who talks about video games on the internet, having played like the entire scale of like 1 through 10 games and just knowing like every bit of that scale and where a game would fall onto that, because I've played a 1 out of 10 before. I've played a 2 out of, like, I know that because like I grew up throughout the generations of like really terrible games that you're just stuck with. And I feel like we've entered a stage, it's not necessarily of YouTube, but of the internet itself, like where everything is hyperbolic and extreme. Like it's extremely good, the best ever, or the worst ever, you know? Because, of course, that's inflammatory, therefore people are going to click on it by the virtue of the title, right? And you'll watch that video, you'll get baited in, you click, and then this person just like lists off just minor annoyances or something like that. I'm like, is that really a 1 out of 10? Is that really the worst game ever made? Is it RoboCop on the Xbox? I don't think so. But my point remains, is like the source, you gotta, for reviews to work, for people to listen to you, they gotta trust that you know what you're talking about, and there's gotta be some like authenticity. Like all the clips that you see in my videos are my gameplay. Warts and all, I keep them there. Okay, that's me. It came from my capture card, from my system. I played it. I told you how it was from my point of view. I was there with you every step of the way. And that's how I try and maintain it. Yeah, the process takes a little bit longer doing that style, but that's what I would expect from, you know, people who review anything. I would certainly hope they played the game they reviewed before making a review. And that's not always the case on the internet. It's a lot of people get called on their bullshit like rather quickly, especially like when it's a more popular game and stuff. But when you start like diving into the niche shit that nobody plays, the trust I feel is more important there, because a lot of people are just taking your word for it because the game is too hard to find, or it's on an obscure platform, or they just would have no other way to play it. But like what passes for, I don't know, reviews or analysis or whatever is just so basic, bitch. I'm rehashing the entire plot. I'm talking about what it means. Like the game is teaching me. I'm being the gameplay is teaching me as a player. And you know, there's like this, there's no right or wrong, I don't know, philosophy behind game design, I think. I mean, it's the end result is like how did the player respond to it? Like is everything you're doing appreciating the player's time for having, you know, bothered to purchase your game or play your game? Is everything designed like, I don't know, working from a framework that where the gameplay is an asset and not a hindrance, that sort of thing. Like I don't necessarily expect everything to make logical sense in my brain, and I don't try and like tell the developers what they should have done, because I've never made a game. I'm gonna be real with you. Like I've made like very basic games, like programs and stuff like that, but like I've never made like a full 3D game. I've never made a two-dimensional side scroller. Well, I have. Actually, I have. I'll take that back. I have done that. But like I try not to like approach things, I guess what I'm saying is like a holier than thou or a smug attitude about it. Like, here's how I would have done things, da, 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 you know, and because I feel like a lot of these people who approach this like nitpick and split hairs over tiny bullshit, where I'm like, you know, I can tolerate a lot of this. I've played worse. And that's also like in film criticism too, is like nitpicking has now become a review style. Just listening to somebody complain for a 6-hour video and just like frame by frame, stop, pause, go on a tangent, frame, next frame, stop, pause, go on a 20-minute tangent. And there's like this weird phenomenon that's going on in general on YouTube, is like long form videos used to be like very well structured. They had chapters, they had segments, like maybe a particular chapter would focus on the gameplay, maybe would focus on the music or the etymology of something, like where its influences lied. Like each chapter would mean something, and there would be a reason for the length. There's now like gaming YouTube channels that are straight up used for ASMR. Like there's just a bunch of empty platitudes about nothing that don't really, I don't know. I guess it's like I'm one to talk, but brevity. Like there's no brevity to what's going on. It's just that, okay, one of the worst comments I always read on these videos is, I just love firing this video up and using it as background noise. Like, I'm trying not to make my videos background noise. I'm trying to actually engage with the people that are watching, and I don't know, maybe like show them something they haven't seen, or throw something new out there. And I feel like a lot of people aim for length and they aim for white noise. Like, you know, they just they try and like replicate an ASMR structure. And like there might not even be a script or anything. They might end up contradicting themselves like 1,000 times. That's one thing I try not to do. Like that's why I write a script, is so I don't accidentally end up completely blowing the fuck out of my own points with a new point. You know, I try and make sure there's something that needs to be said is said and organized and things like that. But just some of the most successful people on this platform just do nothing. I don't know how to say that without sounding salty, but it's just like they just have a stream of consciousness, and then people just love that. They just love the way it makes their ear hairs tingle or something. And then they just like sit there and they rock back and forth in their chair and they listen to their favorite takes, their favorite 6-hour takes as they eat their chicken nuggies and play with their model train set. Like, I don't know what to say other than like, I just don't get it. I don't know that I can ever be that guy. It's hard. It's hard for me to like, I feel like every time I make a video, this is how you should feel if you're a content creator. Pretend like your video is wasting somebody's time with every minute it goes on. And if you're not adding variety and if you're not like entertaining, then you're literally robbing people of their lives. And I feel like every video I'm doing, I'm just sucking the life out of my audience, and that's that's why I stick around. Every minute should be time well spent, says Axe Pillid. Yeah. No, I can't say that every minute of every video that I've ever made was that way. I'm not going to go that far. But it's something that you have to be cognizant of. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong way. But I feel that the ball game is far different than when I started out. It sure is. And I guess it's like that parasocial thing. Like I don't even try and do that kind of like weird telling people that you love them and stuff like that. I love you guys. Thanks so much. I couldn't do it without you. Actually, I could do it without you. I've been doing a lot of it without you. Yeah, not a single one of you fuckers out there have spliced together my frames. So thanks. I'm just kidding. Thanks for the support, for real. But you get a lot of these like weird personalities kind of things, and like the closer you get to that line and you step over it, like into that realm, it gets weird. Like things get strange. I've seen enough like disaster stories, like where ex-YouTuber got weird stalker or whatever showing up to their homes and stuff like that. And then the YouTuber pulls out a gun and says, "Is this what we're gonna do? Is this what we're gonna do?" You know, shit can go south like that. I try and just keep it real with you guys. Like, I can't be here all the time. I can't be your digital friend all the time. I try not to overpromise. That's one thing that a trap that I fell victim to a lot starting out. A lot of ambitious plans, not enough time or willpower sometimes to follow through. So had to kind of change that about myself, and I just kind of take it at my own pace. Like, okay, do I got the time? Do I have the resources? Do I have the motivation? And just like let it go from there. One thing that's always drilled nonstop is like uploading frequently, like once a week, once every 2 weeks and stuff. And I feel that cheats everyone in the end. Like, you just end up making a worse product just to get it out quicker. And I just want to make videos that not necessarily that are evergreen, but stuff that I can appreciate for like maybe 5 years. So, 5 years from now, I'll look back and be like, that was pretty cool. Probably not going to be 10 years, probably not going to be 20 years, but just stuff that I can appreciate and just say, okay, I gave it my best shot. That Wii video was a fucking nightmare, and I don't even know how to describe it. The amount of work that goes into some of those system videos is like the most grueling process at times, but it was fun when it all came together. Like, I hate the video. I hate making videos at the beginning. I start to warm up to it near the middle, and I love the videos after I'm done with them. JC Denton, when are you going to make travelogues in Japan? I already did. JC Denton, I already did. Look up my time in Tokyo on YouTube on my channel here. There's an entire movie about the time I went to Japan. Keijutan Z, I'd never fall asleep to one of your videos just out of respect. I mean, I wouldn't know either way. How am I going to tell? But when people say that as a compliment, it just rubs me the wrong way. Like, I'm never going to know if you fall asleep to my videos at all. In fact, I'd encourage it. It really helps with the watch time. So fall asleep if you'd like. Put it on repeat. I can't stop you. Just loop my videos and fall asleep and every night. Really appreciate that, fam. But it's like, if I was an ASMR channel, I would take it as a compliment. Like, yeah, mission accomplished. Or like 10 hours of relaxing videos, yada, yada, yada. I'd be like, oh yeah, mission accomplished. But when you're trying to, like, I don't know, have a dialogue or start a dialogue about something, you're just like, oh, you just put them on and then fall asleep? Okay. I don't get that comment all the time. I do read it a lot, though. I read it a lot on other people's channels. Just like, what the fuck is the compliment here? Hey, what's up, Trash? What a shame, indeed. It's a good video, I think. That was my only time in Japan. I will be going back there as soon as there's a mandate in place right now in Japan where you can only go if it's a guided tour. So I would have to pay for a travel package, and I couldn't, like, break off on my own. I would have to go with a guide and go to, like, I don't want to, like, a guided tour. I had enough fun going out on my own and exploring. So whenever they lift that mandate, I will be back there ASAP. I might not come back. I might not come back. I'll just stay there. It worked for PewDiePie, right? I don't have this kind of money. I'm sure he's got some special agreement over there that allows him, you know, like a fast pass to citizenship. You do have to meet certain requirements to live over there. You have to have a job. I believe you have to, like, pass basic literacy and other, like, legal-esque classes. But maybe in the future. We'll see what happens. You're definitely one of the most normal people I've listened to ever since your Bullet Witch review. Oh my god. Vessel of Amala? That is an old video. I remember I'd released, and that video came out around 4th of July or something. I recall, like, one 4th of July, I'd released it, and then I showed somebody it, and there was, like, crazy amount of fireworks going on. And I believe Kavia made Bullet Witch, which is a shame because I really love Nier. So I was, like, hoping that Bullet Witch would be somewhat decent, but it's just, it's better on PC. I will say that. There's a PC port of Bullet Witch that I played years later. I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. They fixed almost everything. I think the cool thing about Bullet Witch is, like, all the destructible environments. I'm a fan of any game that has destruction as part of a core gameplay element. Disaster Report, the Earth Defense Force series, Bullet Witch even, Never Dead. 12 Year Deal, I don't have the greatest YouTube channel. I don't. I could always improve. I try. That's the tagline. I tried. dot 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 ellipses. I tried. What can you do? Just be proud of the work you do. Like, don't get trapped in this mindset. You know, try not to like compare yourself to like all the shitty YouTube channels out there that flood the recommended, your recommended tab. You always get all these like, what do they call them, mukbang videos. I don't know why, but I get a million Nikocado avocado videos recommended to me. I only watched the one. I just don't know. I feel maybe I need a brand manager or something like that would help me understand what I need to do to change everything, but I kind of just don't want to. there's that part. It's like, what if I'm not doing things my way, then is it really my content? Is it really my channel at that point? And at that point, I'm just like working for someone else, and then it just doesn't, it becomes, I don't know. It takes the fun out of it, I think. I go in, the best way to do it is just to go in with no expectations. Just don't have a number in your head. Don't expect everyone to like what you make all the time. Just make stuff. Just keep making stuff, and maybe it'll shake out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. The Last Gamer. Yeah, he's probably the greatest channel. Is there any Disaster Report like game coming out soon? Kind of miss them. Yeah, there is a Disaster Report 5 in the works from Granzella, who are the creators. The original dude, I think his name's Kazuma Kujo. He still owns it. And he brought it back from the dead for Disaster Report 4. And I guess that was a big enough success that they're making 5 right now. But the Disaster Report series does have a pretty long development time, as it should. Otherwise, you end up with shit like Disgaea, like where there's like a fucking new Disgaea every time you blink. And then it takes like what was once a nice concept and just milks the shit out of it until it becomes your sole cash cow from your dying company. Sorry, NIS, it's the truth. That's what I'm talking about, like when it comes to exposure. Yeah, every time you do something, put something out, you're somewhat diluting your own brand, in a sense. And I feel this guy is absolutely diluted. I fell off after Disgaea 4 because like they started like Disgaea D2 and then Disgaea Rebirth, and they remade Disgaea 1 a million times, and now they got all these NIS collections, and I love that series. Like the first 3 games are some of the finest strat RPGs out there. But NIS really fucked over. NIS in general, like, they never release a game that has all the content. Everything has to be, like, milked to shit with tons of, like, DLC packs and character packs and BGM and stupid, stupid stuff. There might be a Disgaea Complete out now, but it took them, like, 15 years to do that. But it's fine. You want people to miss your franchise every once in a while. But a lot of companies just will push and push for sequels and reboots and all this other shit when it's unnecessary. Whoa. Which is better, Streets of Rage 4 or Shredder's Revenge? I would say I need to play Streets of Rage 4 to comment on that. I was never a fan of the series in general. I think those series really get by with the soundtrack more than anything, but if I had to pick like a side-scrolling beat-em-up, I always liked River City Rampage. Rest in peace to the creator of the Kuniko series. He just recently passed. But yeah, if I had to pick, it would be that. That's my favorite kind of beat 'em up. The Scott Pilgrim game, which is made by the same people that made this. Alright, are we facing off against Shredder? I don't think so. This is that robot Chrome Dome from Tournament Fighters. I thought that was Chrome Dome. Yeah, this one has a lot of deep cuts from the series. Oh, just like Battletoads. Here we go. Okay, so I think I gotta grab and throw these guys. That's why... There we go. Yeah, just like Battletoads. Okay, so I can only attack him whenever he's in a weakened state. Good to know. So... Oh. Throw. Throw. Yeah, that's... It's going to be a long fight. He seems to telegraph all of his stuff pretty well, though. So, okay. I'll just chill over here. Watch out for the punch. Woo! Okay, so you just basically got to build up your special, wait for him to tire out, and then just unleash on him. So watch out for the punch. Watch out for the punch. Oh my god. This is a pretty cool fight, though. Throw. Throw. Woo! We're getting close. I played a little bit as Chrome Dome in the Tournament Fighter game. He's like the Dalzim. Is Dalzim from Street Fighter. He extends out his ligaments there. There we go. Got him. Got him. Are you familiar with Rhythm Thief on the 3DS? Yes, I am. I did not own it, though. You've completed Vernon's special, da-da-da-da. I didn't even get to read that. We gotta be coming close to the end of this game. I didn't think I'd be able to beat it on stream, but that's okay. I mean, it's a side-scroller. You don't want it to go on for too long. This Gaia 5's the best one. I liked the cast of this Gaia 3 a lot. Hey! 5 claps for 12 eel deal. $5. I'm simping for Simple Series over here. Everyone wants to see the return of the Simple Series. I'd like to. Maybe soon. Not too soon, but sometime. I can't give you a definitive date. I've got other things in the works right now. My retro stuff does seem to do a bit better, but I don't know. There's some newer games that I've wanted to review that are coming out very, very soon. Some more indie stuff, too, that I think people should check out. I actually did record a bunch of footage for like 5 different indie games that I went through, and I really enjoyed. I don't want to spoil them just yet, but they may come up very soon. We'll just say that. I'm not going to be doing another fucking 50 game video for a while, though. I thought 10 was hard, honestly. A lot of those system videos, I think my first one was Cult NES games, which was just my excuse to try and make a poor imitation of GameSack by talking about my favorite NES games, or just weird ones. to see if I could do that format. So I think it was like Cult NES and Cult Game Boy games were kind of a similar premise. And then they kind of evolved into the system thing with the PS3 one. Oh my god. The Pizza Monsters? Oh, it's the Pizza Monsters. That's a great episode of Turtles, by the way. I think every childhood home in the 1990s had a VHS copy of that one Turtles episode with the Pizza Monsters. Delicious. This does make me want a pizza, though. I probably shouldn't eat one. I've been on kind of a controlled diet for my health. But I do love me some pizza, and I could, if I'm gonna go for a pizza, I'm getting like a supreme pizza with everything, like all the toppings. Nothing gets skipped. How do I... Okay, sliding attack seems to work. The jump kick is kind of precise to land. Like, it's often hard to see like what plane your jump kick's gonna hit. It's a very narrow window. I think some of these swings reach into other planes, so. Oh my god. There we go. Gotta stun him with that kick. The sprite work on this game is gorgeous. Like, the Turtles have been through so many bad games. I think there wasn't a good game of the Turtles since the 90s. Even the Platinum one I heard was like really, really boring. There's also a delisted Turtles game that was out for like maybe, I don't know, a year on Xbox Live. And then I guess they lost the license for it, and then it was delisted. It was never released physically, so I think there's like a PC ISO of it or something floating around. But yeah, I was always curious about that one TMNT game. There's some lost content. It's like Afro Samurai 2 is another one. There was a sequel to the Afro Samurai game from the PS3. And it released on the PlayStation 4 store for 2 days. It was on there for 2 days. And you could buy it, you could install it, but it was like a PT situation. Like, if you didn't have it installed, you'd lose it forever. It's not even on the... You can't even play it on the PS5, even if you own it. It's one of the rarest pieces of digital content on the PS4. It wasn't Out of the Shadows, not the Platinum one. There's another Turtles game, I think, that was delisted. The Platinum one was not. The Platinum one is got physical releases, and it may have gotten delisted, but it still had a physical release. There was another Turtles game that was up for just like under a year's time. I'm not sure what it's called, though. That Platinum Turtles game I hold in the same regard as the Platinum Transformers game. Like, it's pretty cool. You know, there's a lot of callbacks to the original and the cartoons and shit like that. But it's really, really repetitive. Like, I got that... I don't even like Transformers, but I got that Platinum Transformers game because it was super cheap, and I had some fun with it, but I did not finish it. Whoa. Is it Out of the Shadows? Oh, okay. I've never played Out of the Shadows. And I'm not sure who developed it. The platinum one's Mutants in Manhattan. Okay. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Mutants in Manhattan looked kind of more like from Platinum's B team. I'm more of a 2D Turtles game fan. I just don't think the series. There's been a lot of people who want like a Batman Arkham Asylum style Turtles game, and if they do that, it would have to be more closer to the comics, I feel, in tone than the cartoon. The cartoon just would not fit that style of game, like that format of game. And the Turtles now just look so. The art style is just so fucking bland that I think they would probably make something like that, like more Nickelodeon Turtles. Slash. I wonder if Slash is in here. Did I already fight Toka and Razor? I don't even remember if I did. This game has been going by like a breeze here. Woo! There we go. Transformers Devastation is 4 hours. I played a lot longer than that. I don't know if I was caught up in side stuff or crafting, but I tend to do that in open world games. It's just never go through the main story because I always feel like I'm going to miss something. Have I seen Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? No, I don't know what that is. Is that a new movie? I saw those Michael Bay ones. They weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. I like the original trilogy, though. I saw one of those shards earlier. A fan game Rescue Palooza? No, never heard of it. Devastation was fun, but easy to cheese. You can get S ranks just headshotting everything, following the same combos. Yeah, that's a platinum game for you. Mikrovic says, I'm not a boomer, so I find it difficult to understand the admiration of some of you guys have for TMNT. Yeah, the cartoon was awesome, but past that, what? The franchise is mostly a cash cow for kids. I'll let you in on a hint here. It was always a cash cow for kids. And that's exactly, like, nostalgia is a dangerous drug. And I think Turtles taps into that for a lot of millennials. I honestly think it should be dead. It's one of those franchises that I think had its time and place, much like Power Rangers or something. But nobody listens to me. There's still, like, people my age and people older that, you know, worship it and watch it and well into their adult age. Consumer pros, you know, absolute, I don't know. I don't want to call them losers, but I just think it's unhealthy after a certain point. Like, you should want the newer generation to have their own thing. They don't need to have Turtles. Not to be like a gatekeeper, quite the contrary. I just think that they should develop new IP that kids grow attached to and not, I don't know, have to piggyback on ours or whatever. Maybe they're trying to bridge that demographic between parent and child. Like, oh, parent remembers Ninja Turtle. I grew up watching that, and now my kid's watching that. But I think in a sense it does rob the kids of having their own franchises and own series and stuff like that. And Turtles was always milked. Like, the entire cartoon was a basis to sell action figures. There was always a new monster or new baddie of the week, specifically so they could sell an action figure of it. That was it. Like, the creators would admit just as much. But the NES games were solid. The NES, I think that's where I'm most nostalgic. I didn't even watch the cartoon that much. I liked the movies, and I liked the NES games and the arcade game. Like, I do remember going to Chuck E. Cheese Pizza and playing. My first 4-player cab was a Ninja Turtles one, with just some random strange kids. That might have been my first multiplayer experience, or local co-op or whatever, but that's embedded in me. And I have fond memories of it, and I think this game isn't half bad either. But that's where it begins and ends with me. I don't really care what they're doing with Turtles nowadays. I don't even think they're that popular with kids. They're probably more popular with deranged millennials that just can't let go, like yours truly. But I don't know. I think that Turtles had its time, and it's okay to let things die. But that's not how our entertainment culture works. It's unheard of. Pop culture never moved past the 80s. Yeah, they keep trying to resurrect, like, beat a dead horse, if you will. Like, the 80s fucking sucked. Okay, I grew up in the 90s, but I can tell you for a fact, almost everything in the 80s was commercialized, and, a lot of it was kind of, you think of the stereotype of the venture capitalist, right? Just like some asshole in a business suit and in the top of a tower thinking about how they can turn this good thing into a big corporate product and milk it until there's nothing left to milk. And that guy, he never retired, by the way. He's still doing his same old bullshit. But I think a lot of there are a few franchises that I feel like have really held up over time. I feel, and I'm sincere when I say this, but The Legend of Zelda is like one of the things that has managed to transcend multiple generations and still offer something new for each time. And I feel it's like completely okay to be as long running whenever everything is kind of I don't know. They kind of like clean the slate, if you will, and start over and reinvent the model or what have you. And each Legend of Zelda is kind of a reflection of that period of time. And I feel like out of all the current running game franchises, Zelda has always brought something new to the table that where I felt like, okay, this experiment was worth doing. I may not have liked it, but I feel like they did something that isn't being done right now. But I guess that's not a cartoon. Maybe that's not a pertinent example. Like even series that I love have terrible seasons and terrible flaws. Like, I love Twin Peaks: The Return, but Twin Peaks: The Return should have been 4 episodes. And you could just definitely, when you're watching it, you can tell that Showtime was breathing down David Lynch's neck and just said, we got to stretch this out. We need to sell subscriptions. So there's like an entire fucking 10-minute scene of a dude sweeping in One-Eyed Jack's saloon there. You'll know what I'm talking about if you watch Twin Peaks. There's like an entire fucking 10-minute montage of a man sweeping. And then there's also like side story arcs that don't really go anywhere. And David Lynch can kind of get away with putting in shit like that because his audience are a bunch of pseudo-intellectual art school dropouts that read too much in between the lines and then try and like apply meaning where there is none. Also known as Suda51 and Grasshopper fans, also known as Swery65 fans, myself included. But like Twin Peaks The Return should have been 4 episodes, right? I'm glad it returned. I'm happy with it. It has like one of the best like standalone episodes ever made. And there are some thrilling moments in there, but there are some absolutely chaotically stupid things that go on in Twin Peaks The Return. Need I say the Bob Ball? Okay, without spoiling anything, but Bob Ball. And then like one thing that really pissed me off about The Return was just a complete waste of Ray Wise. They brought back Ray Wise, Leland Palmer, to sit down in a chair for a minute. That was his entire contribution to that project. And then like there's like this Twin Peaks The Return curse where like 5 people died either during or just after the production. Just people were dropping like flies. It was sad. Like, so there, I love it for that. I love that we got a final performance out of some great actors like Miguel Ferreira. It was really sad when he died. But there's also a lot of scenes like where, I don't know, there's just static shots with distorted music and people just sitting around a bunch. There's a lot of sitting in The Return. But for every low in The Return, there's a really high. Like for every like sweeping in One-Eyed Jack's bar, there's a scene where somebody rips off their face and they're a spectral demon from another world. And, you know, there's a giant nuclear weapon that explodes and then a frog comes out of a girl's mouth. Or there's a little person with an ice pick that chases somebody around. Like, so for every, like, I don't know, stretched out scene, there's something cool in there. Like, every episode has, like, it's like a series of vignettes, if you will. Just a series of little moments strung together, and not all of it's good. What's up, Glaiveson? Welcome to the Cool Stream. We're just riffing on Twin Peaks The Return. Even though I absolutely love it, it's just... It goes back to my point, like, talking about be careful what you wish for, because you don't know what's going to come out on the other side. You know, maybe just say, like, this thing existed at a point in time in my life. Hey, Glaiveson, thank you so much for resubscribing to the membership. I feel that it's okay to let go of things, even people, even friendships, just your childhood, and just say, hey, it was a time in my life. I'm a different person. It's a different world. If I, like, you know, Pet Cemetery or something, sometimes dead is better. I could actually do that voice, but not now. My voice is shot. Sometimes dead. I can't even. My voice is shot. But that's kind of my philosophy on a lot of nostalgia things. Like, there are very, very few exceptions to this rule. Very few exceptions. The X-Files tried it. Completely fucked it up. Nobody even talks about the more recent 2 seasons at all. I will say Cobra Kai had a couple of good seasons in there that impressed me. That kind of built upon the established stuff. It was good to see, like, Johnny's side of things. But I think they've ran it into the ground now. There's a new season. I haven't watched it yet, but that's just one of those things, too, like, where I wasn't even that nostalgic for Karate Kid. I was just more nostalgic for that time in the world where there was nothing but ninja and kung fu movies. Like westernized ones, like Three Ninjas and Turtles and Karate Kid, Bloodsport, that sort of thing. There was a period in time in Western media, like where ninjas and shit, like, were all the rage, and I did miss that time. But I thought the first couple of seasons of Cobra Kai were decent, but they're really, like, they've run out of material. They've run out of characters. I mean, if they could get Pat Morita, if they could just CG the ghost of Pat Morita, maybe it might be cool. Fuck. Daniel-san from the grave. Or they should at least reference his cameo in the Alien Ant Farm music video movies. That would be cool. True. Also good to be here, my man, says Glaive-san. I finally beat Hotel Dusk and Contact. Let's go. I love both of those games. Hotel Dusk a little bit more. Glaive-san, you can import the PAL version of Last Window, which is the sequel. It's region free. It'll play on anything if you want to play it in English. Or you can just get an R4, which I would also recommend. Or if you got a DSi XL, you can... there's now a way to install games onto an SD card, which I recently did. So you don't even need an R4 anymore. So yeah, that's the only way you can play Last Window in English. Oh, you got it on the R4. The problem with R4s is they have a built-in time bomb. I'm not crazy, but they do. R4s will self-destruct essentially and render themselves useless. I think they burn a fuse or something, so it would force you to go out and buy another one. If you got a DSi XL or a DSi, you can now do an SD card mod and install your games that way. It's called like Bootstrap NDS. I did that. The DSi XL is fantastic for the Hotel Dusk series. Fantastic. Was that the game? Nope, this is 16 right here. Okay, we're still going. Just a little bit longer, though. Let me read a little chant here. What's up, Oakland? Good to see ya. I bought an Ace Card 2i back in the day, which was a better alternative to R4 a decade ago. I bought the original R4. I bought the R4i Gold. I found a couple of flash carts at a pawn shop. I think maybe one of them was an Ace Card. I was all about that. In fact, I have a video somewhere on my channel. I think it's called DS Piracy Redemption or something like that, where I lamented the fact that I had an R4, and I actually at that time was collecting Nintendo DS games, and I have a pretty decent collection of Nintendo DS games. I think I've got some rare ones. I got like Retro Game Challenge, Okamiden, all the Hotel Dusk shit, all the Phoenix Wright stuff, Miles Edgeworth, Castlevanias. Trying to think what else. I don't have Solito Robo. I wanted to get Solito Robo, but it's really expensive. I had an opportunity to buy it for real cheap, and I regret passing it up. Okay, spoiler territory for Shredder's Revenge. It's been out for a couple months now, so this is great. This is Krang is Lady Liberty, Statue of Tyranny, Liberty no more. Oh, this is fantastic. Getting some Ghostbuster 2 vibes here, which is probably what they were going for. Krang's got like 2 NES advantages in there. I would love one of my Patreon goals. Like if I ever get the crazy goal is like, I think $500. If I ever meet that, which I don't think I will, but if I do, Nintendo DS upgrades in games would be that video that gets made. But the reason why I put it at such a high goal is because it will take a long time to get that video to look good. I've reviewed a few DS games on this channel, and it's hard to split your audience's attention to 2 screens when you're doing a review. So you kind of have to focus on one or the other, especially if like the bottom screen isn't utilized or something. There's a lot of Nintendo DS games where it's just like a static image or a menu. So I would have to capture footage on a case-by-case basis, essentially, and then, like, edit the whole video around that and make it look appealing. And I don't want to just, like, wuss out and say I'm not going to do it, but it would just take a long time to produce a video like that. And then also, like, maintain everyone's attention, so... yeah. Maybe one day down the road. Sorry for the squeaky chair. I keep hearing it in my ears here, but it's this Costco chair. It's such a pain in the butt. It's actually not painful in the butt. It's actually nice on the butt. That's why I bought it. The Super Shredder. Raging for revenge. I gotta say, the Super Shredder fight in the second Turtles movie is the most disappointing thing I've ever seen in any movie. If you've ever seen Turtles 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's no fight, essentially. The Super Shredder, there's just no fight whatsoever. He just kills himself, essentially. He knocks down these support beams from a pillar and then dies. Can I restart this? I gotta wait till he gets gassed, I guess. Oh, shit. He's got all these barriers and all that junk. Yeah, this ain't looking good. I got 5 lives. I guess I can do it, but he's got a long cycle before he gets gassed. And then he leaves, like, those flame trails and stuff. So, okay, I'll just camp here. He does that barrier, then he gets gassed. Okay. Yeah, Glaveson. He gets crushed under a boardwalk. Like, imagine you're the designer of the Super Shredder costume, or you spend all this time, like, doing all the choreography, and they decide to just cut the final battle out of the movie. Because that's what happened. In Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, I think, like, Toka and Razor, they get danced to death at a Vanilla Ice concert, I believe. Something like that. I think they just get defeated during the Ninja Rap. And then there's no battle with Shredder or Super Shredder. He just takes the ooze and that's it. He destroys himself. I thought the third movie was pretty fun. I know a lot of people don't like that one because it's a period piece, but I thought it was really fun. There's also a reference to the third movie in TMNT, which is the animated Turtles movie that came out like 2003 or 4. The scepter that they get, that time-traveling scepter, does appear at the very end. Which was, I thought, a deep-cut reference at the time, because people treated Turtles 3 like it was the black sheep. But I honestly think the first one, I like the first and third one more than I like Secret of the Ooze. I think a lot of people like Secret of the Ooze for the Ninja Rap exclusively. And I don't even like that. I thought the tone of the first movie was great. I would have liked to see more Casey Jones too. Casey does appear in the third one. I think he skipped the second movie, but he does appear in the third one, which is probably why I like it. I like the actor who played Casey a lot. And they, like, replaced April. Oh, am I supposed to fight these? Okay. So these are barrier shredders. Gotcha. Okay, well, do they respawn? Oh, shit. You gotta be fast. Okay. Well, they only take a hit, though, so... And those purple flames don't do anything. Oh, there we go. All right, now I know what's up. You expecting the Addams Family? Yeah, that's what a great line. Wasn't that Corey Feldman that says that? I know he. I think he's Donatello. You expect maybe the Addams Family? I can't even do Corey Feldman. He's had the same voice since the Goonies. That same like weird froggy voice. Or I'm not gonna dog on Corey Feldman. I'm a big Feld Dog fan. Okay. We've already established this earlier in the stream. Corey Feldman has the most Kino videos on YouTube. Like this dude, he went on this like talk show this one time. Look it up, like Corey Feldman live performance or whatever. You'll find it. He's like in a hoodie, and he's like dressed like Michael. He's kind of got like a Michael Jackson thing. Like, you know, when Michael Jackson would have that one strand of hair in front of his face. Corey Feldman just does like this bizarre hypnotic dance. And then like he ends up like, I don't know, twerking out. And then he does like a Michael Jackson number. And he's got all these chicks that are like in scantily clad angel uniforms playing bass and shit behind him, while he's just like doing Shimona. Like he's doing a pretty bad Michael Jackson take, but he owns it. And then I thought it was pretty good. I did watch his documentary though. I can't say it on YouTube without getting my channel flagged though. But he has a documentary about the dark, seedy underbelly of Hollywood and how the child predators and things like that. It's hard to tell like what he's saying, like what parts he's exaggerating and what parts are true. But if any of the parts of what he said were true, it's fucking sad. So like I can't totally dog on Corey Feldman because he had a really rough childhood, and there was some horrible shit involving Charlie Sheen allegedly and some Crisco, and I don't want to elaborate any further than that. Nor should I on the Cool stream. Well, folks, that's been a cool stream. I've been Hikiko. This has been Squeaky Chair. Squeaky Costco discount chair. I'll get that fixed next time. This has been Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I hope you enjoyed this cool stream. I'm going to unlist it for a little bit, but it will be in the cool stream playlist probably next week. I usually just put them there after a while, just so I don't drag down the numbers of my channel with cool streams. Sadly, that's how it has to go, but it will be up there. Really appreciate all the support. Thanks so much for the super chats and for showing up to this impromptu stream. I don't know how Casey Jones was eating that pizza through his mask, but it was nice. I hope you like the new layout. Do you like the new layout? I tried to make the game a bit more prominent. My frame is a bit smaller. The chat's here. Kept it simple. Godspeed. Later, guys. See you later.